Colts. I'd like to welcome all the players, coaches, and families to the IHSAA Football State Finals. The Colts are grateful to be a part of a growing Hoosier football tradition and are proud to be a partner with the IHSAA. As an organization, we salute all your hard work and sacrifice to reach this point. We'd like to wish all of the teams the best of luck competing for the state title.
We are down to 2 high school football games left to play this calendar year in the state of Indiana. It is now time for the 4A Football State Championship game featuring a pair of first-time participants. The Marauders of Mount Vernon High School of Fortville taking on the Raiders of Northridge High School. This game presented by the Indianapolis Colts, and you're watching on the IHSAA Champions Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. High atop Lucas Oil Stadium alongside the former head football coach at the University of Indianapolis in Joe Polizzi. My name is Greg Rakestraw. We'll check in with Jeremiah Johnson coming up here in just a matter of moments as well. And again, there are so many storylines in this game, Coach. It is ridiculous. We have 2 communities that have never played in a football state championship game with a pair of first-year head coaches. This is an underdog story through and through on both sides.
Isn't that what it's all about, though? The unexpected happens. First-timers, they're good, too. So they made it happen, and it's just a thrill to be able to be a part of it.
Part of the story for Northridge is the fact that they have played 4 different quarterbacks during the course of the season. The last one they got to, Tag Gott, a young man that wears number 24, indicative of the fact that he is a running back for them on the season. We'll get to him in a matter of moments. This is Keegan LaBelle, and this young man is averaging over 10 yards per carry for Mount Vernon this year.
Both our players, the key players to the game, have 2 things in common. They're explosive and they're versatile. Not only are they solid on the offense, but they are also leaders on that defense.
Yeah, the LaBelle brothers will both be big factors defensively for Mount Vernon. Now let's tell you about Tag Gott again. Northridge was 5-4. They lost 4 of their last 5 games. Necessity was the mother of invention. They moved a running back to quarterback, and their season took off.
Amazing that a young man like this, just a junior, can account for 1,000 yards running and then come in and be a quarterback and account for 1,000 more through the air.
These are 2 teams that tend to do things, Joe, in a similar fashion. So our keys to tonight's game are the same for each of these 2 teams. They are brought to us by Wilson Sporting Goods because state title runs deserve the very best. We start with eliminating turnovers.
Well, that's a key, as you mentioned earlier. It's the first time for both these programs. They're under the hot lights for the first time, not accustomed to this type of environment. Do you play over the jitters, and can you make it without mistakes? Because that's the team that's going to win.
We talk about stopping the run, and while both teams will use a spread formation, first and foremost, they are running attacks.
They are. They're going to try to run the football. It's going to be who's most physical, who can stack in there and play solid fundamental defense, run to the football, and have a great day.
And if you're going to run the football, that means usually field position becomes a factor.
It is so hard to go 80 yards running the ball without making a mistake. So the team with a better field position gets set up with better drive starts, they're going to be more successful.
These are communities that have been waiting decades to get their opportunity to play in Lucas Oil Stadium. It is time to meet these 2 teams, about to meet these 2 teams here that are playing in this 4A state championship game.
One more game.
One more game.
We won the sectional regional in 2014, made it semi-state, lost to New Prairie. So this is our first time ever going to state as a school, and it means the world to us.
It was all about our family that we have at school. We'd be lying if we said we had all-around better athletes than the teams we beat, but I think we play with more heart than all the teams we play.
I mean, it feels pretty good. It's what you dream of your whole life. So
the road to Lucas Oil was difficult. We had to go through some tough teams.
Oh, it's hard. I mean, you think about all the teams that you have to go against. It's not meant for everyone. That's why there's only, one team from the north that gets here.
It's surreal. It is very surreal. It's been my dream since I was a little third grader starting to play football.
All right, keys to victory are control the line of scrimmage, eliminate drive-killing penalties, and we just need to have fun.
I think just all the hard work I put in. Got hurt earlier the year. To come back and just go through the journey of the hard work all the summers and everything. So, it means a lot.
It would mean everything to me. It's just been a lot of hard work and dedication for even all of us as a team. So
to win a state championship, it'd be crazy.
Tonight you will see
where champions are made of.
Last thing I'm going to tell the guys before we get on the field is why not us?
One win away from a state title.
Here come the Raiders.
We are.
We are. We are. We are.
We are the Northridge Raiders.
It all comes down to this.
It's game time.
For the first time in program history, welcome to the Northridge Raiders.
This is our time.
This is our time.
This year we won the second regional, and we also won our first semi-state in school history, and we're making the first appearance of any male sport in the state final, so we're really excited for Saturday.
This is an amazing feeling. I'm excited to come out and play in front of all these fans. It's a dream come true.
It feels amazing. It's the first one in our program's history, and it's just really exciting.
Feels great. We've been working all year for this. That was our goal from the beginning of the year, is to go to state and get a state title.
Mount Vernon's never won a state championship before, and it would mean the world, to win this and to be here today. It's spectacular and super special for the community.
The keys tonight for victory are going to be really up front. We've got to be physical. We can't flinch. We've got to be tough. We've got to find a way to run the football against a really tough front seven, and we've got to stop their run.
This is the first state championship appearance in Mount Vernon history, and it mean the world for the community to win this state championship.
Well, I'm going to tell them when they get ready to run out that tunnel, as they run to our sideline, I'm going to tell them to peek up and enjoy it, and look at the support that the community's coming out, their family, their friends. As you run out, enjoy it, take it all in, and then when you get on that sideline, lock it in, and let's get ready to go for one last ride.
We're going to bring home the trophy.
Here come the Marauders.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are the Mount Vernon Marauders.
This is as big as it gets.
The 4A championship game starts now.
Also, for the first time in school history, please welcome the Mount Vernon Marauders. Again, to first-time participants in this state championship game, and not a first-time participant on the IHSAA Champions Network. Happy to have him for the next two games on loan from the Indiana Pacers, Jeremiah Johnson. Hello, JJ.
Greg, great to be here. As you mentioned, there is something special in the 49th IHSAA Football State Championships to see a couple of first-time participants led by first-year head coaches, 44-year-old Vince Leidy and 27-year-old Chad Epley. We'll focus first on the Cinderella story. Northridge was just 5-4. Chad Epley took over the program in August during an Elkhart area media day. He looked around and he said to some of his players, he said, "Why not us?" Very matter of fact, very simply, it's been the rallying cry for this team this entire season. You might even get on social media right now and type the hashtag, "Why not us?" I was just outside their locker room. I looked at the dry erase board. There's a big hashtag. It says, "Why not us?" and a score, 42-21. I just asked Coach Epley what that score is indicative of. He said, well, the Indianapolis Star said we were going to lose this game 42-21. So they're using that as their motivation. Hashtag, "Why not us?"
Jeremiah, thank you very much. Frankly, the "why not us" mantra has been used by Frank Reich for this Colts run as of late. Works the team that calls this building home. Northridge trying to go for it as well. Let's listen in to our coin toss. It's about to happen at the center of the field.
Opening coin toss will be done with a commemorative coin with the IHSA logo as heads. The National Federation logo is tails. Mount Vernon, you will represent the visiting team and get a call the coin toss. What's your call? Tails. He called it tails. And it is a tails. You've won the toss. You want the ball? You guys are going to kick this direction. All right, Northridge over here, Mount Vernon over there. Mount Vernon won the coin toss. They elected to receive. Northridge will defer the north goal. Gentlemen, shake hands. Good luck.
By the way, that is Eric Lowe. That is our referee. The rest of his crew is Rusty Lowe, Paul Wren, Travis Horn, and Stephen McLaughlin. And if you wonder about the decision to receive the opening kickoff, you do that when you are the state's leading scoring team. Mount Vernon is averaging just shy of 49 points per game. What jumps off the page about what they have done offensively for head coach Vince Leidy this season?
Well, what jumps off the page for me is just the look on the face of both those coaches in the interviews. They were just busting with enthusiasm. Yes, I want the ball and I want to go right now. It doesn't matter about the stats. The stats are important, but the fact is we're ready to go. This is our opportunity to be in the show, and we're going to make the most of it.
And while Vince is a first-year head coach, this is by far his first year in terms of being around a high level of football. Longtime assistant at Hamilton Southeastern, was on Mike Kirshner's staff the last 3 years at Mount Vernon. When Mike elected to make the move back to his alma mater in Warren Central during the offseason, Vince became the man in charge of this Mount Vernon program. He has played in a state championship game. He has won a state championship game as a quarterback and linebacker at Castle back in 1994. And since we're talking about first, let's give you one more before this game kicks off. If Mount Vernon wins, Vince Leidy becomes the first person to win a mental attitude award as a player and then win a state championship as a head coach. That is some rarefied air. Andrew Janatello set to boot this one away, and the 4A state championship game has started. Short kick, quality return, run back that time by Trevon Hegler for Mount Vernon. And the Marauders will start this drive at their own 45-yard line. There you see Gehrig Sluniker, a young man that has spent 4 years as a starting quarterback, began as a freshman at Greenfield Central, now has become a 3-year starter at Mount Vernon. And while they might be a run-dominant team, clearly he can sling it around the yard. 31 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the season.
In the film I've seen and the chances I've had to watch this team, the thing that jumps out at me the most is their team speed. They can run, and they run well offensively and defensively, and that is tough to beat.
They will tell you they may not be the biggest. They just might be the fastest. They have won 13 games in a row. Here is LaBelle on the first play. Northridge had him covered. Let's show you the remaining of the starters for Mount Vernon. Reidenthal and Gentry, both big play threats in terms of being wide receivers. And again, Cole Herman, 6'5" and 205. Largest offensive lineman in the center, Roland Tremble, at 6'3" and 300 pounds. And that's going to be a flag. That's going to be a legal motion. So this is a big play for Mount Vernon. However, it's not going to stand. So second play touchdown from the Marauders. This is coming back because there were 2 guys moving at once, and they never both got set before the ball was snapped.
Such a shame because they developed that play so well. And the second part of that is you've already shown it. Now you can't go back to it. They can defend it because they've seen it already. And, you know, those things happen as we talked about. Eliminate mistakes, eliminate the turnovers.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the offensive team. We have a legal shift, 2-minute motion on the offense. That penalty will be declined. Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay the down.
So now be second down and back it up to 15. And again, we didn't show you the hold. We showed you the motion. Trey Jones was the motion man. The young man that had the carry in Gentry then shifted. Basically, both of them have to come to a stop. before the ball is snapped, or that is a penalty.
Exactly. That's a game time jitter that you got to play over.
See the play clock on your screen. Lengthy play call from the Mount Vernon sidelines. It's LaBelle. Finds a bit of a seam, runs through a couple of tacklers, then just keeps the pile moving. That young man did not skip leg day. Picks up 14 yards, sets it 3rd down and 1. And now let's show you the starting lineup for the Northridge Raiders. They have 7 two-way starters. You'll see a lot of these same names throughout the course of this game. Ridge Howard, their leading tackler, 145 on the season. And the Hochstetler name will be featured on a regular basis in tonight's game as well.
Well, in that first carry, we saw what Keegan can do. He's strong, he's physical, he's got great feet, and he knows when to make the cut.
Another first down for Mount Vernon, so they overcome the penalty. And we referenced the fact that he's averaging 10.5 yards per carry. How about 14 and 11 on touches 2 and 3 for the game?
Amazing, amazing. What their offensive line is doing, they're getting nice big splits. They're forcing the defense to widen out with them. And this young man has got the feet and the instincts to make cuts. He's going to be very interesting to watch today.
Matt Rutledge made the tackle for Northridge. It's a Mount Vernon team that has overcome or be able to knock out the 2 teams that have beaten them in the postseason the last 2 years to get to this point. Burhan, once again Rutledge on the tackle, but that is 11 yards, so 3 consecutive plays of 10 yards or more at a Mount Vernon first down.
Good read, hit the flat route, nice and easy. You can see they've practiced that a million times. They're just following that script that they made during the week, and it's working perfectly.
George Burhan, his 27th catch on the season. Young man with 4 touchdowns on the season for the Marauders. On the handoff, LaBelle runs through a tackler, gets a great block, stiff arm down the sideline, and as so many drives have this season, touchdown Marauders. Able to overcome that penalty at midfield.
Little trap play, pull, trap, the guard turns up, and this guy here, he is something special. He's got it all.
Touchdown number 25 for Keegan LaBelle on the season. 5'7", 170-pound senior. Mount Vernon lining up for 2 here on the first score of the game. And somebody got a bit of a head start.
A lot of motion, a lot of shifting. That's kind of tough down here.
Prior to the snap,
jitters are
ball
still
start.
high.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, retry.
And with that, here comes the kicking unit on. Ethan Yaley. I think Vince is asking what number, who moved.
Yeah, he's disappointed. They practiced that, I'm sure, so many times. But it's different. You're under the hot lights.
Yaley 50 of 53 on extra point tries this year. And did not make that one. So, not 7, but 6. Still points on the opening drive for the Marauders. Northridge will have the football when we come back. Keegan LaBelle, his 25th touchdown of the season. As you're watching on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
It's a new era with new faces, the same Colts nation though. Passionate, loyal, loud, and when teams come into Lucas Oil Stadium, they need to know that it's going to be a long damn day. Let's go!
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
We referenced this a moment ago. Mount Vernon has avenged their last 2 postseason losses in the last 2 rounds of the tournament. And this was a surprise to everyone outside of Mount Vernon. The Marauders found a way to knock off the defending state champs and number 1 Roncalli. That Burhead carry went for 73 yards. Breidenthal the touchdown here, and the guy that just scored for Mount Vernon in this game in LaBelle found the painted turf as well. Mount Vernon 27-21 the win to go to the semi-state, where they then beat Memorial last week. You see the score, it was 28-28 at halftime of that game. Mount Vernon lost at Memorial in the semi-state round 2 years ago, and you notice those points on the left-hand side of the column. The 27 points that Mount Vernon scored against Roncalli 2 weeks ago, that's the fewest points they have scored in a game this year.
They are explosive. They work hard. You can tell they're a weight room team. They're a speed and conditioning team. They just got quickness that's tough to overcome.
Yaley with the short kick. Northridge Fields at the 30-yard line, and Breidenthal makes the tackle almost immediately. Return man that time was Zach Baugh for Northridge.
So not bad for field position to start things off.
And again, the quarterback for Northridge is Tag Gott. Don't be fooled by that number. He was a running back at the start of the season. Again, 4 different quarterbacks have seen time this year for Northridge. But still, he has thrown for over 1,000 yards during his time as a quarterback. And from a rushing standpoint, a virtually identical number of yards as well. A lot of quarterback keep. The option here for Northridge. And somebody, I think, got an early start there, too.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It was quite the opposite. They got a late start. Delay a game, 1st and 15.
Both teams started out that way. You could just tell this is new, not only for the players, but the coaches on the sideline. You got to iron those things out, and they'll be fine.
Great look at Chad Epley. He is all of 5 years removed from being a college football player at the University of Indianapolis. Gotts will keep. Burhan tries to track him down. Also, there probably a little help with Ashton Gentry. No gain on the play. We've touched on the quarterback. Let's show you the rest of this group. Bit of an undersized offensive line. 3 players under 200 pounds for this Northridge squad. Big players in terms of wide receivers. Equal distribution guys like Walker, Hochstetler, and Signs for this group offensively. We'll get you the Mount Vernon defenders coming up in a matter of moments. 7 in the box. And Gott will keep, finds a seam. Trip up after a gain of 9 and sets up a much more manageable 3rd down. Mount Vernon defensively. They have 4 two-way starters, but they'll have some guys that kind of rotate in throughout the course of the game. The leading rusher in terms of Keegan LaBelle is the leading tackler. He has 100 of those on the season.
Well, that last play was a new formation. They put the formation into the boundary, seeing how Mount Vernon would react and cover it. Had some trouble.
3rd down. And again, Gott will keep. Mount Vernon read this one well. No gain on the play. Max Hayes led the charge that time for Mount Vernon.
It is so hard to duplicate Mount Vernon's speed and quickness in practice. So this is new. It's going to take a couple series for that up front, those linemen to adjust, because they're flashes up front. They can move.
Neither of these teams have punted all that much this year. Northridge punting for the 30th time this season. And a great kick that Gentry will field. Spins away from one man, and yep, there's going to be a late hit there. He was standing out of bounds when contact was made by the Northridge defender. I think that was Ridge Howard that couldn't pull off the hit in time.
No, sir, you do not want to help Mount Vernon's offense. They are explosive enough.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit out of bounds on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
You touched on field position and the keys to the game. Mount Vernon now will have the football at their 45 and the Northridge 45 to start the game.
When two teams run the football, it's all about field position, and the simple reason is because it's hard to go that distance without making mistakes.
So Mount Vernon takes over on the plus side of the 50-yard line. Burhan, the man in motion. Sluniker looking for the deep ball. Jump ball, and Breidenthal couldn't win that one away. That's an interception. Just the fourth that Sluniker has thrown this season. Northridge gets momentum back on their side. Signs with the pick for Northridge.
Excellent coverage, excellent positioning. Look how he plays the football in the air. They needed to make that play desperately, and the defense came through.
14th interception of the season by this Northridge defense.
Coach Leidy right now is saying, why did I put the ball in the air when I got a back that runs for 10 yards a carry?
If my quarterback had 31 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, I'd let him air it out a couple of times as well.
All right.
And not to mention, again, a 4-year starter at quarterback. So Northridge takes over at their own 13-yard line. 5-man front being shown by the Marauders. It's Gott, bounces it outside. First down and more. Eventually Williams will steer him out of bounds, but not before a gain of 22 on the play.
Beautifully blocked, a man on a man all the way across the board. Good speed, there's a good block there. Yeah, he's done this once before. He knows exactly what he's doing with that football.
Let's talk about the football math. When your quarterback is going to carry and you have an extra blocker in the equation, what does that do for Northridge?
Well, it makes it very, very difficult to defend because you have got to match up, and the numbers just don't match up when you got a quarterback that can run that effectively.
The first conventional handoff, if you will. This one goes to Ridge Howard, and again, it's a lot of the same names we'll call on both sides today. Howard, the leading tackler on the season for Coach Epling in Northridge. In terms of running the football, 236 yards rushing on the season. Chad Epling, last 2 years as an assistant coach for Tom Wolverman, who really kind of built the foundation at Northridge. Then spent 2 years as an assistant coach for that to Jake Gilbert and Westfield, who are playing in the next game. Gott looking for the deep ball. Just overthrows his man. Breidenthal was the defender in coverage. Jethro Hochstetler was the target for the Raiders.
Nice attack. The scheme, they put that formation into the boundary again, just a little bit too long.
Got about a 50% completion rate as a passer.
You think in the summer he had any idea he was going to be a quarterback?
He was just throwing the ball back, running receivers routes, basically.
And now he's the man.
Third down. Blitz coming. Gott throws, and Hochstetler never saw the ball. Again, Gott had to get rid of that one because of the oncoming pressure of Mount Vernon. And Northridge looks like they'll have to punt for a second time in as many drives.
Well, and you talk about field position, at least they got a couple first downs where they're out there. A nice punt makes Mount Vernon have to work the length of the field.
Pass kick for Gott was a solid one. As Gentry is back deep to return. This one, not as much. High, could take a very positive Northridge roll. It was kind of dead in there at the 37-yard line. That is a kick of just 25 yards. Marauders have the football when we come back. This 4A championship presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
Football fans, welcome back to Friday nights, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, And I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
It's 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. You have two choices. Option 1, take 2 nanoseconds to reach over and put on your seatbelt. Or option 2, decide it's too much work for a Saturday and don't put on your seatbelt. As the seatbelt alarm continues to sing the song of its people, you roll your eyes. You're just going down the block, you'll be fine. You take a turn to the left, and that's when you see it.
Just wear your seatbelt. It's an easy way to save your own life. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute wants to remind you that choices matter. Click it to live it.
Hey, Indiana. Let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
So 6-0, Mount Vernon has the lead, and they're about to have the football. However, before we went to that break, there was a flag added to that play, one of the 5-yard variety. And I think Northridge, after that last punt, would gladly try to kick it again and see if they can get better field position.
He kind of popped that one up. He's going to like it a little bit better. The lower kick on a field like this where it hits the turf and can roll, certainly more beneficial.
Dodd has unleashed a 62-yard punt in his limited attempts on the season. Average about 30 yards a kick. This one a low line drive kick, and again this is going to benefit Northridge. Now Gentry can bring this one back. Does so from the 25. There's that speed, and again after the penalty, it's about an additional 7 yards that Mount Vernon picked up because of the penalty. Let's go to the sidelines where Jeremiah Johnson has more on the head coach of Mount Vernon and Vince Leidy.
Greg, you mentioned him winning a state championship as a player. He did so while playing for his dad, John, legendary Indiana high school football coach. He won 209 games at Castle. The Knights field is named John Leidy Field. Now, I asked him if I could look back and find some highlights from that game in 1994. He said, you'll get bored watching. We didn't throw it. We just tried to run over Portage. In fact, he said, my dad would not like the offense we run now. We run spread offense. He liked to line up and play eye football, run over center, and the speed continues for Mount Vernon.
Shovel pass to Gentry, makes a cut back down the sideline, follows his blocker, and is tripped up at about the 10-yard line. Making the touchdown saving tackle is Matt Rutledge. Again, that counts as a pass. Either way, Mount Vernon matriculating the ball down the field with haste.
They can fly at several positions. Great run, great scheme, and wow, this is an explosive football team.
Yeah, to go back to Jeremiah's talk about Vince's playing days, he was a quarterback and linebacker. Kind of gives you an idea of the offense. That's Heckler, the number 2 running back for Mount Vernon. Inside of the 10-yard line, it's going to be second down. And when you and I met with Vince on Monday at the Coaches State Finals media session, you were quick to point out, hey, buddy, I was trying to recruit you out of Castle High School.
Exactly. I was a huge fan of his father, was a good mentor on me. Every time I would go down to Castle, he would tell me what's in the area and who to trust and who not to trust. He was just a great guy.
Hand up in the jet sweep to Gentry, and Ridge Howard was having none of it. A loss of 2 on the play. It's third down.
And Vince was a quarterback, but he was a linebacker, sideline to sideline type guy.
Went on to play for Bill Mallory at Indiana University. Howard with the tackle again. 145 of those on the season for the two-way player for the Raiders. Both teams have solid kicking games, so if it's not a first down here, a field goal is a possibility. Burhan thinking end zone. He has at least the first down, and as he dives, he crosses the plane. Touchdown, Marauders.
That's that same flat pass they used in the first drive. It's wide open. You go back to it, get it out in front of the big guy, and let him catch and run with it.
for Sluniker, his 32nd touchdown toss of the season. Burhan, his 5th touchdown grab, and one interception has slowed Mount Vernon just a bit, but it's still a 2-score lead. And after the missed extra point, now they will go for 2. On the counter, it's LaBelle, and LaBelle scores. Great block on the edge by the wide receiver in Breidenthal to make it 14-0 Mount Vernon. So LaBelle with the 2. Burhan the 6 before that. Mount Vernon leads 14-0 on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
In addition to Pacers basketball, my family's a big fan of 2 things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted Walter to join Bailey, he too gets his bowl of water right from our Connecticut K5 drinking water station. We take our water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system. Improve your water like we do. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for your free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
We've referenced Vince Leidy's playing days at Castle. Look at that turf at the RCA Dome. He can talk about not internet. He just threw a touchdown pass in that highlight. Again, Castle, the 1994 5A state champs over Portage, 30-12. And as we referenced earlier, Vince would be named as the Phil N. Eskew Mental Attitude Award winner. And if Mount Vernon wins, he becomes the first Mental Attitude Award winner to then later be a victorious head coach in a state championship game. And to give you a frame of reference, this is the 49th year we've had IHSAA football tournament action.
That's an amazing story and an amazing family. He had such a role model to follow, and I'm sure his father is extremely proud.
By the way, he's not the only Mental Attitude Award winner on their staff. Toby Jacobs as well, who was on the staff at HSE with Vince, who made the move to Mount Vernon. He won one playing for Indianapolis-Scecina. They've got a couple of guys that know what that award is about on that near sideline.
Well, it all adds up. There's no coincidence that this is a well-coached, solid football team that is just fundamentally perfect.
Last kick was a short one. This is Sluniker that kicks off. A little bit longer, and fielded by Northridge by Hochstetler, and then quickly taken down at about the 28-yard line. Luke Heiner on the tackle for the Marauders.
Well, I wouldn't want to wait too long to make my move here if I was Northridge. This Mount Vernon has intentions of running things up today.
And Northridge 5-4. Lost 4 of their last 5 games. They were going through some quarterback struggles due to injury, COVID-19 issues, etc. But absolutely caught fire at the absolute right time. And the 2 sectional championships in program history this year in 2014. Play clock is at 2. Got the snap off in time. And Gotts sent backwards. Rajon Wells makes the tackle for no gain.
Played that gap perfectly well. Got off the block. Good form tackle.
Well, we talked about the speed of Mount Vernon, but at the point of attack, there is a size advantage in favor of Mount Vernon today as well.
It's a total program. You can tell they're doing it in the classroom, in the study table, and in the weight room.
Bobbled snap. Gott will pick it up. turns into kind of a delayed draw, and it works out just fine. Welcome to the modern version of the fumble-rooski. First down for the Raiders.
Well, he's going to have to pull some magic out of his hat, and he's very, very capable. But he's the guy that you want the football in his hand.
See, you intentionally fumble, let everybody flow to their left. You go the opposite way. Add that to the playbook.
And get the heck out of there.
That so far has factored really in every play but one offensively. Has thrown it just twice. He's been a guy that's carried it now 6 times and has a pair of first downs. Add to the total. Finds a seam. Should be enough for a first down as the Raiders reach the 50-yard line. Williams on the tackle.
That's a good example of what you were talking about earlier. With the quarterback as a threat to run the football, you have an extra man advantage. They blocked that very well. This is a nice drive, and they need it.
McLean Miller helping lead the way in terms of the blocking. Ridge Howard doing the same. Coach Epley, an old offensive lineman. He's not old, in fact, he's 27 years old. A very recent offensive lineman. Handoff goes to Miller. Miller, 26 carries, 165 yards on the season for the sophomore.
Tried to run the counter play, blocking down, pull the guard, pull the backside, try to get up in there. I think the tailback hit it just a little too quick. If he would have paused, he might have had an opening.
Got both the leading rusher and passer for this Northridge team. It's Gott again. Good blocking, nice looking cutback. First down. All right, Northridge, that's a 16-yard pickup. What are you seeing differently in how they're blocking this up on the third drive?
Well, that reverts way right back to what you were talking about earlier, having the quarterback run the football. Normally, you're handing that ball to the tailback. He kept it. Tailback is now an extra blocker. They're putting the formation into the boundary, outnumbering Mount Vernon's defense.
Timeout.
And then they've got an extra lead blocker with that
Mount
tailback.
Vernon.
And Mount Vernon is seeing
Mount
Vernon seeing something defenseless. Okay, we're going to talk about this right now. We'll step aside. Raiders have some momentum on their side. They trail 14-0 in the state championship game presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm Matt Wolford, president of the IHSAA Foundation, and we need your help. We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to ihsaafoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
Right now, more than ever, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. Make 6 figures a year, have great health insurance, have a great retirement.
It basically is giving me a lot more security financially.
The great benefits of this union is that I've been able to provide for my family.
If they didn't truly believe college was for them, or even if they were on the edge of thinking, I'd push them towards going to a trade.
Ivy Plus helps students navigate the cost of college in 2 ways: tuition and textbooks. Ivy Plus Tuition simplifies what students pay by charging the same tuition rate if they're enrolled in 12 or more credits. You pay the same amount whether you take 12, 15, or even 18 credits, so you can graduate faster while saving money. You'll save even more with Ivy Plus textbooks. Best of all, students in the fall 21 and spring 22 will receive their required textbooks at no additional cost.
Northridge trying to slice into that Mount Vernon lead early as they are on the move to the 34-yard line. Today's game presented in part by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. You're good at being you. You've been you for years. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is good at your insurance. Find an agent to help you think about it at infb.com. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood. Once again, it is Gott. This time he'll try the right side. Almost everything has been to the left, and right side didn't work as well. LaBelle and others over to make the play.
Well defended, Mount Vernon. They're playing a man-to-man coverage, so that gives them 8 guys that can play that run. They had an outside advantage on that. Very difficult to get the corner.
Burhen and Owen Johnson combined to make the stop. Second down. Gott's numbers in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Gott will try up the middle. Same result as the last carry right side. And again, that timeout taken there by Mount Vernon tells me they saw something in terms of their run fit. They felt they had to change immediately.
They made the adjustment. They're taking the free safety now and just turning him loose on the run. They have to put the ball in the air. You got to be balanced in this type of situation. They may have been able to go through their schedule running the football, but in this game today, they're going to have to keep that defense honest, or they'll be teeing off like this for most of the day.
So 3rd down and 10, again, potential 4-down territory here. 4 wide at this time. Blitz coming. Gott looking to escape and won't be able to get rid of it. It's a sack. It's LaBelle. Keegan LaBelle. We'll talk about Keegan and Kellen defensively for the Marauders. This time it's the star tailback that gets the quarterback sack as well.
Oh, you got to like Keegan. See that burst, see his feet. This young man is all football player. He's fun to watch.
5th sack of the season for Keegan. And Northridge will line up to go for it. However, Mount Vernon thinks it's a punt because the quarterback and running back is also the punter in Gott. He could quick kick it here. Well, he is lining up looking to throw it. Throws the deep ball and nobody was open. And that means that Mount Vernon will take over at their own 39-yard line, and Gott is on the field, and Northridge would really like to avoid having to make another quarterback change as they have done so many times this season. But Gott has yet to get up off the turf. Coach Epley immediately out to check on one of his star players. Made contact with Max Hayes, the linebacker. You hope it's nothing more than maybe bumping a knee, and he'll be able to maybe take a couple of snaps off defensively, but and get right back on the field because Gott himself has 84 tackles on the year.
2,000 yards offense.
Correct.
Rushing and passing. The last couple plays have been exposed. Mount Vernon is making him be a real quarterback, and that's difficult for a guy, as we talked about, came into the season as a tailback, number 4 quarterback, just maybe emergency purposes. Now he's in the biggest game of his life and against a defense that's ultra hungry.
The fact there were a couple of smiles there on the field told me it wasn't anything long term for Tag.
Popped up.
Nick will be okay. You can give him a playoff. He should be fine. This is the worst starting field position so far for the Marauders. It's been their own 45, their own 44 here, the 38, and the plus side at the 45-yard line. This is Breidenthal, little wildcat here, and ball's out, and Northridge takes over. Second turnover by Mount Vernon. Again, they gave him a different look. Breidenthal ran the wildcat, ball got knocked free, and Northridge has it inside of the 40-yard line.
You know, we haven't heard his name much, but this is a football player. Number 2, Ridge Howard, is a headhunter. He has been in on every tackle. He forced this fumble right here. He's a guy to watch. I like watching him play.
Peyton Shook is the young man that recovered it. Senior linebacker himself has 100 tackles on the year. And again, to our point, Gott is just fine. He's going back out onto the turf for Northridge. So Mount Vernon enjoying a 2-score advantage. But they turned it over twice. But I don't think they got the playoff in time.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Those are tough. You got a little spark, little chance for momentum, and now you're 1st and 15.
Second time that Northridge has been dinged on that violation here in the quarter.
Yeah, those are unnecessary situations.
Fourth penalty totaling 30 yards against the Raiders. Clearly growing more comfortable as a quarterback. He just checked the play at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And whatever he checked into did not work.
No.
And how about the perfectly timed blitz by LaBelle as well? Had the snap count timed perfectly. A loss of one of the play, what will likely be the final play of the opening quarter. Other than a couple of miscues by the Marauders, the first quarter for each of these two schools ever in a football state championship game belongs to the team from Hancock County. Back with more in a moment as we're presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
It's a new era with new faces, the same Colts nation though. Passionate, loyal, loud, and when teams come into Lucas Oil Stadium, they need to know that it's going to be a long damn day. Let's go!
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
One quarter in the books. Mount Vernon leads Northridge 14-0 in the Class 4A state championship game at Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm joined now by IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. We are watching good football, but we are spreading important messages this weekend as well. Tell me exactly what is the Indiana Tobacco Prevention and Cessation, and why is it important for the IHSAA to partner with them?
Well, certainly anytime we can do something with our civic duty to help student athletes learn about the dangers of smoking or puffing, I think it's very important for us to get involved in those initiatives, and the tobacco cessation is part of the Indiana Department of Health and certainly a great partner for us.
I know maybe it's some people don't understand what a big issue this is. How problematic is vaping right now for our youth?
It is problematic. Our schools struggle with it every day. It's such an addictive chemical involved in vaping with the nicotine, and we know that's not good for teens, and we really want to educate them and their youth on uses.
If there's one thing you want to tell youngsters watching, it's don't do it, but that you're here to help as well.
That's right. We don't want anybody to do anything that's harmful to their development, and certainly vaping is one of those things.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Great. Jeremiah, thank you very much. Paul, thank you very much. And the IHSA is very active on Twitter in terms of that campaign as well. Simply put, don't do it. Gotts looking to throw, and that is almost intercepted. Breidenthal had nothing but air and opportunity in front of him. If he hangs on to it, it's going to be third down.
He did a nice job of diagnosing the play and breaking on the throw, a little bit out of his reach. Thank goodness, huh?
The receiver in Breidenthal is yelling at the defensive back in Breidenthal right now, thinking he had one.
Absolutely. Northwood needs to cash in on this great field position.
And second turnover they've been given by Mount Vernon. Here comes the pressure. Gotts will throw, and that one won't be dropped. That's Burhead on the pick. Fifth one thrown by Gott this year. And yet again, the Marauders will have outstanding field position at their own 40-yard line.
Man-to-man coverage. Everybody was blanketed. Nothing to do with it. He wants to get rid of it. Bad decision. You don't want to feed that beast, but you just did.
So Mount Vernon takes over. It has been feast or famine for them in terms of offense. 2 touchdowns and 2 turnovers on their drive so far. Gehrig Sluniker. It is not lost on me that someone with the name of Gehrig is wearing number 4. Handoff. This is Hegler. And Hegler will pick up 3. And yes, just to clarify, Dad comes from a baseball family. Gehrig was an outfielder on Mount Vernon's team that reached the semi-state round in 4A in baseball in the spring. And yes, he is named after the Iron Horse.
Love it. Love it. Great story.
We'll tell you more about that story. There's other parts that go along with it as well. 2nd down and 7. Northridge was bringing blitz, and I think they may have gotten somebody from Mount Vernon to move. Yep.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
3rd penalty called against the Marauders at this juncture for a total of 20 yards. Gehrig's dad played baseball at IUPUI. Cal Nenrit did a great feature on Gehrig at the beginning of the postseason of the Indianapolis Star back in late October. Again, pressure. Sluniker is trying to buy some time. Nothing else by time people to get rid of the football, but he will get positive yardage on the play. That's Breidenthal that makes the grab at about the 46-yard line.
Excellent job of buying time and make something happen. Good scramble pattern. Receiver comes back to the quarterback for the ball. Got himself open.
I think that's a catch tomorrow. I think that's 2 feet that he kept in bounds as Breidenthal pulled that one in.
Nice play. Nice play. Making something out of nothing.
So 3rd down and 4. A lot more opportunities in the playbook for 3rd and 4 than 3rd and a dozen. And again, a procedural penalty against the Marauders.
Yeah, something's wrong. They're having trouble hearing.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And obviously this is such a different setting than anything these young men have ever played in before.
Absolutely. Everything sounds different. Everything looks different. Plus, you've got something going on inside that's not quite normal yet.
4 penalties and 2 turnovers in 13 minutes, yet you have a 2-score advantage.
They are explosive. They can break it at any time. Keegan runs so well, and it's going to be tough to hold down.
Mount Vernon 2 of 2 on 3rd down. It's a screen, and go figure. The guy that's playing the quarterback position on the opposite side read that play perfectly. Punt team coming on for Mount Vernon. Before we do that, Jeremiah Johnson on the sidelines.
A rare stop of the Mount Vernon offense. Wanted to highlight the work of Toby Jacobs, the offensive coordinator. Greg mentioned his work in high school as well. I talked with Joe Reitz, who played for Coach Jacobs and Coach Leidy at Hamilton Southeastern. We'll watch this punt, and I'll tell you this story because Joe Reitz told me that no one brings the fire before a game like Toby Jacobs. He's an intense coach. He's taught these guys so much, and he taught so much to Joe Reitz when they were playing at Hamilton Southeastern. Coach Jacobs told me before this game, he said, we don't want to worry about time of possession. We want big plays. We're going to be a wide open offense. We want to throw haymakers. And watching him operate on the sidelines, I know he wasn't happy about the turnover or even getting stopped on that possession, but he knows he has a lot of talent and skill on the offensive side of the football, and I love watching him work on the sidelines.
Jeremiah, thank you very much. So Northridge with momentum in terms of their first true defensive stop that wasn't because of a turnover. They've got the running game going, but so far, Tag got 0 for 5 in an interception in terms of throwing the football. We'll look to fix it here. They were trying to set up a screen. Mount Vernon's pass rush blows that up. That's a situation where Miller would have been better off if he had simply dropped that one, because that is a loss of 6 on the play.
Well, the Mount Vernon defensive staff has decided we're going to just suffocate the run. We're going to force them to do what they're not very good at or not natural at, and that's they're going to have to throw the football. They're going to have to drop back and put it in the air. This
is now over 3/4 of a shutout that Mount Vernon has pitched, dating back to the semi-state game in Evansville last week, after giving up 28 in the first half to Memorial. Gott gets some yardage back, but still Northridge well behind the chain, setting up 3rd down and 13. I go back to last week's game, Joe, where basically to try to shut down the Memorial running game, Vince Leidy called it the Alamo defense, as in their last stand. They just, what they're doing now, just put 7-8 guys in line and said, if you're going to beat us throwing, fine. You're not going to run the ball against us.
Exactly. Every gap is covered. Quick support on both corners. Yeah, they're going to have to work on getting somebody down the field.
And one thing that Mount Vernon has not been shy about doing is taking a timeout when needed. We'll step aside with them. 3rd and 13 when we come back on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
Football fans, welcome back to Friday nights, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
It's 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. You have two choices. Option 1, take 2 nanoseconds to reach over and put on your seatbelt. Or option 2, decide it's too much work for a Saturday and don't put on your seatbelt. As the seatbelt alarm continues to sing the song of its people, you roll your eyes. You're just going down the block, you'll be fine. You take a turn to the left, and that's when you see it.
Just wear your seatbelt. It's an easy way to save your own life. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute wants to remind you that choices matter. Click it to live it.
Hey, Indiana, let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
Northridge making their first appearance in a state championship last week, their first in a semi-state game, and how this game turned on 2 plays. The interception by Tag Gott, and then just a couple of plays later, a 76-yard touchdown pass from Gott to Jethro Hochstetler. The Raiders would recover a fumble on the kickout to close the victory 20-14, and that sent the Raiders to Lucas Oil Stadium for the first time in program history. Chad Heffley in his first year leading this charge downstate, and really the tournament trail began by avenging a regular season loss to Northwood. Northwood, a fellow member of the Northern Lakes Conference. When Northwood and Northridge played during the regular season, Northwood won that game 42-8. 4 weeks later, Northridge won it 28-7, and history has been made from that time on.
What a great story.
3rd and 13, pressure applied. Gott gets away. Gott turns upfield, finds a man in Miller, cuts back inside. First down at the 50-yard line. Let's see if that turns the fortunes of the Raiders. A gain on 3rd and 13 of 20 yards.
What a great effort play by Tag. Nothing there, avoids the rush. Looks like a tailback. Excellent decision. Love it.
He may look like a tailback, but has the sense of a quarterback. He literally threw that ball a yard before he got to the line of scrimmage.
That's uncanny. He has got it all.
Now you're taking the broadcaster lines by playing off his name like that.
I had to do that.
Got with the 3-yard pickup before Kellen LaBelle helps make the tackle. Kellen with 39 tackles from his linebacker spot on the season. You almost got the feeling for Northridge it needs to be points on this drive.
You really do. They've got some momentum. They need it because Mount Vernon will not be held down much longer. And yes, they've got a nice drive going with good opportunities. It kind of got the defense going sideline to sideline, but they're still, look how tight they are to that line of scrimmage.
It's Mount Vernon team that averages just shy of 50 points a game. Here comes pressure, and Gott lost the football, knocked free. They're going to say incomplete pass. They're going to say his arm was going forward, so no fumble, incomplete pass, 3rd down. We'll get a great look at it here. Was he hit as his arm was going forward? Tough.
I say yes. I say yes.
So third down coming up.
He's got to have that internal timer telling him, throw it.
On the slant, picked off. Picked off, that's Gentry. Gentry flying down the sidelines. He won't be caught. Touchdown Marauders, 20-0.
Just a super job on defense, seeing it, jumping it, and nobody was in front of him. Perfect. Gott just did not see that safety jump it.
Gentry's got 12 touchdowns as a receiver. Makes the play from his cornerback position there. Both teams now with a pair of turnovers. First real points off of turnovers in this game. And Yaley's extra point try is wide right. He is 0 for 2 tonight. So 20-0. Mount Vernon has jumped in front. The offense doesn't need much help, but the defense provides 6 points too. This 4A state championship game, a presentation of the Indianapolis Colts.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
In addition to Pacers basketball, my family's a big fan of two things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted Walter to join Bailey, he too gets his bowl of water right from our Connecticut K5 drinking water station. We take our water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system. Improve your water like we do. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for your free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
Marauders enjoying a 3-score lead here early in the second quarter. Fans, better educated coaches produce better athletes. You can help give high school coaches the training they need by contributing to the IHSAA Foundation. Make your tax-free contribution today at ihsaafoundation.org. Check out the gold kicks on Garrig Slunaker. Quarterback, kicker, shoe fashionista,
trendsetter.
Not to mention, again, a very good baseball player on a really good baseball team. Mount Vernon upended by Jasper in the semi-state round in June. Everything going the way of the Marauders right now.
They're executing the perfect success story.
And they're going to go for the onside kick, trying to pick it up, but their guys were offside. So even if they had recovered it, I think the play was blown dead, because I think Northridge would love to have the ball at the 49-yard line, but they're going to make him kick it again.
Offsides on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
That's also, it shows you the respect and belief that Vince Lighty has in his own defense, that even if you don't get the ball back there, you feel your guys can hold him at midfield.
It's worth taking the shot. They've got their number. They got everybody up. They're coming hard versus the run. They're making the running team throw the football, something they're not specifically the best at, and they're going to take advantage of it.
So Yaley is back on for the more conventional kickoff try. Again, goes with the directional pooch kick that is fielded at the 30-yard line. And Northridge will start at the 39. The return by Tyler Gordon, senior wide receiver and defensive back. And I want to borrow this at least one time today from Kristen Airy. Here with an Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance sideline report. Here's Jeremiah Johnson. What do you got for us,
like
JJ?
I'm right at home, Greg. That you see on the screen, Tad Goff. He, of course, plays defense, also is the quarterback. After that interception, he spent a lot of time with Chad Epley. We saw him get knocked down, a little bit hobbled at different times. He was going through his throwing motion. He was trying to stretch out a little bit. Not quite sure if the conversations were about his health or perhaps the execution of the offense. We do know, though, Northridge has some other options under center since he was originally the fourth-string quarterback, but he's back out there right now and taking the shotgun snap.
Jeremiah, thank you very much. And Gott just trying to power his way through. And I don't think you have to deviate from your game plan just yet if you're Northridge, because it is the second quarter. You've just got to execute what you're doing and get some positive momentum going on offense.
I agree with you, and that's great insight. It's not time to ditch what brought you here, but you've got it ready just in case. You're counting right now on Tag being able to step up and make the plays that he made to get them where they are.
So second down. 15th carry for Gott already, and just a yard. The young man that had the pick six has the tackle there in Ashton Gentry.
There's too many unblocked guys right there at the point of attack. It's difficult. Unblocked and quick. Put you in third and long.
Gentry, 164 pounds. Again, the playmakers for Mount Vernon are not these big, massive guys. It's just the speed that they have.
They run, and they're well coached. They're in the right spots, and they play with great effort.
Out in the flat on the wheel route, and a trip up that time, and that is Heiner that makes the play. Luke, the linebacker, 56 tackles on the season coming in. That sets up fourth down, and as of now, the Raiders look like they might just go for it, and given the score, I tend to get it. I understand. Pick up 6 yards here are the Raiders, and again, you've also got the option of the quarterback quick kick here too, with Gott being the punter.
There you go. Rakestraw's been to too many games.
And Gentry flying back to cover it. Fields at the 21-yard line. He has stood up at the 34, and that's where this drive will start for Mount Vernon, their worst field position of the game. Today's game presented in part by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. You're good at being you. You've been you for years. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is good at your insurance. Find an agent to help you think about it at infb.com. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood. You referenced being to too many games. By the way, a late flag was thrown at the end of the play. Let's see what this is about.
Sportsmanlike conduct, number 24, Northridge. It's a 15-yard penalty. This is his first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
And he's got to be careful because you hear him count it out like that. Perhaps a second might be the end of the day for him. So now the ball moves. Forget that worst field position. Here we are again, short field for Mount Vernon at the 50-yard line. By the way, you referenced watching too many games. First game ever called, you were on the sidelines as the coach of the University of Indianapolis. Freshman year against the team known back then as the Charters of Wayne State University. 1st and 10.
That was a couple years ago.
Just a few. Just a few at this point. You look the same. I don't for some reason. Slonaker on the wheel route, and that's going to be dropped. Again, you can see what playing quarterback has meant for Gott in terms of what he does defensively. We saw the pick that he had last week in the semi-state, and frankly should have had this one.
How well he played. He knew just exactly, you're right, where you needed to be. And, man, they needed that play. If they're going to stay in this game, they need a turnover and a score as soon as possible.
Tag is only a junior, but if he wants to keep playing football after next year, do you see him as a quarterback, a running back, or maybe as a defensive player?
I think he might be a defensive player. He's physical.
Breidenthal on the slant. He stopped a yard shy of the first down, 3rd and 1.
Physical. He's got the mentality. He's a reckless football player. He likes to get there, and also he understands the game.
So 3rd and short coming up here. Got 84 tackles on the season entering today's game. Gott has 78 of the 79 yards rushing so far. Fake the handoff, Sluniger hit as he throws, and that's going to be picked off. That is Shook. 5th turnover of the two teams combined, and that was all about the pass rush that made that play.
Beautiful call, brought both backers, and my man Ridge Howard got through, made the big hit, forced a turnover. That's just what the doctor ordered now. You got to come through and play some offense.
And again, it's remarkable to think that if you're Mount Vernon, you got a 3-score lead, despite the fact you have turned it over 3 times in this game. And how about Shook able to make that play? Literally, he's fighting off the center on that play, reads it, and goes up and gets the interception.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now build off this. Tag.
It's quite the 1-2 combination for Northridge defensively. That's what us broadcasters do. Handoff goes to Howard, and Mount Vernon was waiting on it. No gain, 2nd down.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but until you can get them off your back,
right,
this is gonna happen. They have no reason right now to do anything but storm the castle.
Clock rolls past 5 minutes left to go before halftime. Seeing a 5-man defensive front being played right now by Mount Vernon. And a little too anxious that time. The hard count got him. Are they going to say a lineman moved?
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Defense broke the plane because they saw somebody moving along that offensive line, and I'm sure as a former offensive lineman, that'll drive Coach Epley a bit crazy.
Yeah, a couple of the wideouts got a head start too. Something was wrong with that cadence. Find themselves in a hole again.
Penalties starting to rack up on each of these teams. 11 combined flags so far in the game. And let me change that now, because another one was just thrown. Looks like somebody had lined up improperly.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Well, 5 yards goes right back the other direction. And the clock will once again roll. There you see the total yardage and penalties. Only one of the 15-yard variety. Most have been of the 5-yard occasion so far. Got on the slant, catch is made, tackle is made. Williams on the tackle. Catch is made by Clint Walker. His 38th grab of the season. It's going to be 3rd down and short.
Good execution and nice adjustment. Get that ball in your hands and throw it. They're coming after you. He can throw the slant very well.
I'm not sure how many slot receivers have the old school neck roll that Walker's got going. Again, an indication he's also a linebacker as well. A lot of linebacker mentality, I think, on this Northridge team.
So many guys going both ways on both teams. That is unheard of.
At least once you get kind of to this level at the 4A realm. Handoff, that's Howard. Good enough for a 1st down. Needed the 49 and crosses the 50. Northridge picks up the 1st down.
This is called the power eye. You may not have seen that. The power eye, that's back in the day, and he ran it hard. Nice job.
We have this need to explain. That person that lines up in front of the tailback that's not the quarterback, that's a fullback. And on that play, Northridge had 2 of them. I know you're a proponent of the H-back in your offensive days.
I like the H-back, but there's nothing wrong with the old power eye.
Handoff. That's Miller. He'll get a couple. And to give you an idea in terms of the kind of distribution so far in this one, from a rushing standpoint, 21 rushing plays have been called. 15 have gone to the quarterback for Northridge. And as a team, Mount Vernon is holding Northridge to 3.9 yards per carry.
And they're sticking with it. They understand it. I've never had a line coach that didn't say, Coach, run the football, and that's what we're doing. He believes we can block everybody.
Got on the slant. Again, that's a catch. Just shy of the 1st down marker. Cade Signs on the grab. Young man that had an earlier interception for the Raiders.
Mix in the slant. It's a super adjustment here. You're getting so much man coverage. You're getting some outside leverage. Throw the slant. That's something Tag can do very effectively.
Also getting your quarterback in rhythm with some easy-to-complete throws there, too.
Catch it. You don't have to think. Pull the trigger.
Scott now 5 of 12 for 30 yards passing in the game. You got to think 2 downs to get a yard here if you need it for Northridge. In time is becoming of the essence, even though the Raiders have all 3 timeouts at their disposal. Yet again, that jumbo backfield. And Gott will try to bounce it outside. He will have the first down. By the way, that was more than a fullback that was lined up in the backfield for Northridge. Trenton Jensen at 6'2" and 270 leading the way. Number 74 pulling from that halfback position.
Wide body. It's actually called a power back. And he was certainly that.
I would call him a guard if he's wearing 74.
Okay.
Ball at the 38-yard line.
He pulled that formation out of the mothballs.
Gott throws and tipped away by Williams, but got there early. 15 yards and a first down. Hochstetler was the intended target. That'll move the ball inside of the 30-yard line.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot will result. First down.
The Northridge offensive staff has found their groove, what they can do. Run the football on the inside, throw the slant on time, no hitch, pull a trigger.
The right arm was not the problem for Williams. It was that left arm that was wrapped around Hochstetler. So this is by far the best field position of the game for the Raiders. And again, they will have the football to start the third quarter. If you can score here, you'll get it back to start the half. Gott throwing for the end zone. Touchdown. Hochstetler able to hang on to it. And the Raiders have their first ever points in a football state championship game.
Love to see it. Battled their way back. Found some things they could do. Put it up in the air. Make a big play. Got yourself a ball game.
Ren Davis in coverage that time for Mount Vernon. Jethro Hochstetler, his 7th touchdown grab of the season. Maybe the only problem is you gave Mount Vernon a minute 39 left to go to work offensively. He's not taken them long to score points this season. Extra point is up and good, but Northridge has planted a flag for this game. Touchdown pass from Tag Gott. Hochstetler grabs it here on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Matt Wolford, president of the IHSAA Foundation, and we need your help. We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to ihsaafoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
Right now, more than ever, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. Make 6 figures a year, have great health insurance, have a great retirement.
It basically is giving me a lot more security financially.
The great benefits of this union is that I've been able to provide for my family.
If they didn't truly believe college was for them, or even if they were on the edge of thinking, I'd push them towards going to a trade.
Ivy Plus helps students navigate the cost of college in 2 ways: tuition and textbooks. Ivy Plus Tuition simplifies what students pay by charging the same tuition rate if they're enrolled in 12 or more credits. You pay the same amount whether you take 12, 15, or even 18 credits, so you can graduate faster while saving money. You'll save even more with Ivy Plus textbooks. Best of all, students in the Fall 21 and Spring 22 will receive their required textbooks at no additional cost.
I'm not sure there's many folks in Middlebury or Shipshewana or the surrounding areas at this point. They're all down south to watch the Raiders play in a football state championship game for the first time. And it's capped off in terms of their opening scoring drive. 23-yard touchdown pass from Tag Gott to Jethro Hochstetler. Now if you're Northridge, it's about trying to get a stop before you go to halftime to keep this a 2-score game at the break. Andrew Janatello on to kick this one away. Gentry fields the line drive at the 10. Isn't touched until the 35, and it is wrestled down at the 42. Tackle made for Northridge by Jackson Bontrager.
Northridge, they have to feel pretty good about where they are offensively and defensively. Despite the score, they're in a position now where they're doing the right things, and they have made a turn of momentum. They could just capitalize here, force a turnover of some kind, at least keep them out of a scoring range.
This is the part where I point out yesterday, Lutheran came from 14 down to beat Adams Central. Gibson Southern came from 26-7 down to beat Brebeuf. Slonaker fires, catch made, and that is Trey Jones that makes the grab. Pickup of 8 for number 88. Trey, just his 7th catch of the season. Young man that has fought through a pair of different hand injuries to play in this state championship game. His father, Jay, on the staff of the Marauders. Handoff goes to LaBelle. Bounces off his own man. Won't bounce off tacklers from Northridge. No gain on the play, and it sets up 3rd down.
They made some adjustments on the sidelines defensively. They could play that trap. They're playing that trap very well. Got some people at the point of attack and just got physical.
That was Jensen that held up that play. We noted him as the blocking back on the last drive. Catch made by Gentry in the crossing pattern. 1st down and more. Reaches the 30-yard line before being steered out of bounds at the 28. A gain of the play of 22 yards.
Yeah, there's no substitute for speed. Once you get them out, once you get Mount Vernon, any of their skill guys out in space, it's trouble. How he's holding that football. Got away with it.
We have seen that speed on display in all 3 phases of this game. Kick returner, pick 6, and now in terms of a receiver, has 2 catches for 65 yards. Slonaker out in the flat. Good job by Gentry to catch that ball that was behind him. Did a good job of protecting it there at the 19. Now of note, Mount Vernon only has 1 timeout remaining, so they got to be careful here how they proceed offensively with 45 seconds and counting left to go before halftime. LaBelle, 1st down. Inside the 10, approaching the 5, out of bounds, clock stops, 30 seconds left to go. 1st and goal coming up for the Marauders.
It's like they flipped the switch and went into good speed to great speed.
We're in Indianapolis. We have this push to pass button on the Indy cars. Mount Vernon may have that in their offensive package.
They stepped it up on this drive.
Find a few extra horsepower there. Okay. Timeout going to be called by Northridge. So they bring in a look.
Timeout, Northridge. 1st charge timeout.
We'll keep it right here. 2 more timeouts left to go. Good look inside of the huddle. We referenced Toby Jacobs a couple of times. That's Toby directing traffic inside of the offensive huddle for Mount Vernon. Let's answer one of the most common questions about Mount Vernon High School as you see their school bio. How are they named Mount Vernon? All right, so when the school was formed in the 60s, it was the merger of Mount Comfort, which, if you will, is kind of the town between the east side of Indianapolis and Greenfield, and Vernon Township, hence the combined name of Mount Vernon. So if you're looking for the town of Mount Vernon, that's not close to here. That's all the way down in the southwest corner of the state. But Mount Vernon of Fortville, there you go. That's how the name is put together. And special hello to Brandon Ecker, does a great job as the director of athletics at Mount Vernon. Congratulations to him and the rest of the staff at Mount Vernon High School enjoying this appearance in a state championship game.
Rakestraw, you're amazing. What a great story.
They got this great thing called Wikipedia. Toss play goes to LaBelle, and LaBelle dives and scores. 2nd touchdown for Keegan LaBelle. And Mount Vernon answers the Northridge score with 26 seconds left to go before halftime.
Doesn't he run so well? So smooth, nice cuts. I like him. What a good football player.
How about the blocking of the wide receivers on the play?
They did a super job also. You know what? On that on the play beforehand, quarterback saw the same defensive look, called the timeout. Came back, same thing happened. Let's just pitch it to our guy and let him make a play.
Mount Vernon going to go for 2 here. Again, they're 0 for 2 on extra points. 1 for 1 on 2-point conversions. Maybe a timeout coming here by Mount Vernon. They've got one to burn. They'll do exactly that.
Timeout on the field. Mount Vernon. This is their final timeout of the half.
Well, we told you about the Mount Vernon Marauders. How about we tell you more about the Raiders of Northridge? Again, each of these two teams making their first appearance in a football state championship game. Northridge, part of the Northern Lakes Conference, and for many years they were at the back end of that league. Again, so much of the groundwork for this trip by Northridge was led by their previous head coach in Tom Wogeman, elected to step away at the end of last year. They won 1 sectional championship in school football history until this season. And here they are competing for a state championship. In Middlebury, Indiana, one of the more picturesque communities you will see in any part of the state.
Well, they'll never forget this day.
No doubt.
What a great story. They're not through. I'm sure they're a little worried because they really thought we had an idea on how to stop them. This drive kind of put that asunder.
And the next team to stop Mount Vernon, this should be the first. Handoff goes to LaBelle. Flag thrown. LaBelle won't make it. That would be in the area of a hold, which obviously this would be declined if it is a holding penalty.
Yes. Holding on the offense. That penalty will be declined. The try is no good.
So 26-7 is the score. And again, Northridge will get the football back with 2 timeouts to work with. We'll see if they can try to move the ball quickly or simply take a knee and move on to half number 2. Fans, you enjoying these state finals? Help make sure the resources are available so that great games like these can be played forever by supporting the IHSAA Foundation. Go to IHSAAfoundation.org and make a tax-free contribution today. LaBelle, his 25th and 26th rushing touchdowns. Chad Epley on the sidelines. Played for our great friend Bob Bartolomeo at the University of Indianapolis. He is 5 years removed from wearing number 62 in his days as a University of Indianapolis Greyhound. And he was relying on some of his old connections to make sure his team was ready to play over these last couple of days. I think there was a workout at Westfield High School where he was formerly an assistant coach. I think there was a workout at UIndy where obviously he played. So even though he's a Northern Indiana guy, he's got plenty of time spent in memories from his days here in Central Indiana. Yaley on the kickoff. Hochstetler to the 23-yard line before he is snared by a pair of Mount Vernon defenders.
You know, the offensive linemen are always the most cerebral guys. They're the thinkers. They're the guys everybody goes to when they don't know the play. What's the count? How do I block this? He is that guy. He has got this team so well coached, fundamentally solid, and he's doing a nice job of finding ways to move the football despite all the odds against him.
Can you imagine your 5th year of coaching football, your first year as a head coach, being in a state championship game?
No, it's a miracle. It never happens. But he's done it, and he is good, and he's not through yet.
Still a 3-score game at 19. Got it. He's going to run with this one and get what he can. And
yes, sir. He may get another 15, no?
He got the first down. Unfortunately, that takes it down to 13 seconds left to go before halftime.
Well, he was very wise. Everybody was covered. Tight man coverage. He saw a lane, and he is a running back. Good call. Good decision.
There was a 76-yard pass play that won them the game last week. But Mount Vernon prepping for that. They've got 3 safeties, 15 yards off the ball. Can't even see him on the screen. That's how far deep they are. Got Throws out in the flat, incomplete pass. 5 more seconds tick off the clock. Second down.
It's a tough throw. From the hash to the numbers, a very tough throw.
149 yards of total offense at this juncture for Northridge. Gott, between rushing and passing, has accumulated 143 of those. And the Raiders will have the ball to begin quarter number 3. Could be the last play of the half. Gott, it will be. He'll step out of bounds. The 40-yard line picks up 6. And that is the conclusion of business for half number 1 of this 4A state championship game. Both teams making their first ever appearance in a state title tilt at Lucas Oil Stadium. It is the Marauders trying to cap it off with a state championship that enjoy a 26-7 lead at the break. We will catch up with Coach Epley at the end of halftime. Vince Leidy will be joining Jeremiah Johnson coming up in just a matter of moments. Again, LaBelle, a pair of touchdowns. Gentry, a touchdown on an interception return. Burhen, the other score for Coach Leidy's team at Mount Vernon, as the Marauders will take a 19-point lead to the break. And Vince is standing by with Jeremiah Johnson.
Vince, we knew this team was built on speed. How did you take advantage of your speed in the first half offensively?
Well, we tried to put pressure on them on both sides of the ball, and we jumped out early using our speed, made a big play, but we've had too many mental mistakes and fumbles and turnovers. Really, where this game, we should be in better command. So, it feels good to be up right now, but we're going in 0-0 coming out second half.
As we talked on Monday, you know Northridge is a team that likes to run the football. Now that you have that 19-point lead, how can you use that to your advantage?
Well, they've done this before, so they've been in this kind of situation. So what they're going to do, what they've been doing, I think, we've got to make sure to still stop the run and then rally to the pass. And again, their quarterback's made some good throws, but we're really not going to go in and defensively do many adjustments, except we can't lose the edge. We've got to tackle better, and we cannot have penalties on defense. So we're going to go back to the, get those guys lined up, and we're going to go right at them.
Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks.
Greg?
Jeremiah, thank you very much, and Coach Leidy, thank you very much as well. A lot more at JJ coming up here at halftime. The Marauders, a 26-7 lead at the break, as you're watching on the IHSAA Champions Network.
You're good at making big announcements.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
It's a new era with new faces, the same Colts nation though. Passionate, loyal, loud, and when teams come into Lucas Oil Stadium, they need to know that it's going to be a long damn day. Let's go!
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
Mount Vernon leads Northridge 26-7 in the IHSAA Class 4A State Championship game, day 2 of the 49th IHSAA Football State Championship. Of course, 3 champions were crowned on Friday. 1 champion already crowned on this Saturday. It was the Class 2A State Championship. Evansville Mater Dei taking on Andrean, and we'll go to the highlights right now. A low-scoring start to this game. Yes, defense dominating the first and second quarter. Early on, you saw a blocked field goal, then the Andrean defense trying to do what it could to stop the Mater Dei offense, but Mason Wunderlich did find the end zone, so Andrean had to find an answer, and they went to their workhorse, their all-everything running back and linebacker, Drake Bowen, one of the best football players and baseball players in the entire country. He forced that fumble, got his third touchdown a little bit later, and it's Andrean, the Fighting 59ers, celebrating the state championship over Evansville Mater Dei in the Class 2A state championship. Congratulations to Andrean, and what a well-played game. Contrast of halves, the defense dominating early, and then the offense and Drake Bowen dominating in the second half. Now it's time to talk a little business. Matt Wolford is the president of the IHSAA Foundation. He's just an IHSAA fan first and foremost, but he's doing a lot of great things right now in his 5th year as the president of the foundation to help make sure we have events like this and days like this for many years to come. Is that correct?
That is well said, and it's for days like this. Look at this, 2 great communities out here enjoying this 4A championship. This is what we do. This is why we do what we do: raise money for protecting and sustaining education-based athletics and everything that's great about it.
So tell me the journey that you've been on to get to this point, because I know you can say President IHSAA Foundation. Many people watching at home say, what exactly does that mean?
Right, so about 5 years ago we created the foundation so we could raise money for programs that are outside the purview of the IHSAA itself. Running championships and having great events like this is what the association is all about. We want to really dig in on a little more on scholarship, a little bit more on our student leadership programs, our coach leadership programs. We've talked about our Inside Out initiative before. We're talking about transformational coaching versus transactional coaching, and really beating that drum about why it's so important not just to win at all costs. It's really about bringing these boys and girls and bringing them along, getting them ready for life and what comes next in their journey.
And as the foundation continues to grow, there are that many more things the foundation can do. You say already over $100,000 maybe being set to be given out to member institutions?
It's very exciting this year because we're getting some traction now. We have over 1,000 donors to the foundation, and really everybody who's listening to the broadcast, support what we're doing. Go to ihsafoundation.org, make a donation, support our programs. We are going to give $100,000 back in different grants and scholarships to our member schools this year. It's a really big accomplishment for us in this short time, and people are getting on board. They like what we're doing, and we're trying to be good stewards of the money for them.
Now, we were just watching the end of the second quarter together, and we kind of looked up and just kind of were mesmerized a little bit about this atmosphere, seeing a couple of first-time state finalists and the community support that we're seeing, especially in this game.
It's why I show up every day, really, because we're protecting and sustaining what this is right here. These 2 communities, they're here for the first time. Someone's going to win for the first time, and this is what it's all about. And it's just fun to be part of that, and that's what gives you the drive every day to show up and do the right work so you can support all 407 of our member schools, all 92 counties. It's good stuff.
You mentioned it. Final thought, ihsaa.org has everything that anyone would want to know about this?
That's right. Check us out there. You can follow us on Twitter as well at IHSA Foundation. But get on there and support us. Make a donation, support the cause. We're doing the good work, and you're helping kids all over the state.
A fantastic weekend. The IHSAA Foundation doing a great job as well. Thank you very much, Matt Wolford. We are back with much more at halftime from Lucas Oil Stadium. Mount Vernon leads Northridge 26-7.
Football fans, welcome back to Friday nights, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
It's 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. You have 2 choices. Option 1, take 2 nanoseconds to reach over and put on your seatbelt. Or option 2, decide it's too much work for a Saturday and don't put on your seatbelt. As the seatbelt alarm continues to sing the song of its people, you roll your eyes. You're just going down the block, you'll be fine. You take a turn to the left, and that's when you see it.
Just wear your seatbelt. It's an easy way to save your own life. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute wants to remind you that choices matter. Click it to live it.
Hey, Indiana, let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
Since 1972, Title IX has helped protect opportunities for every female athlete in high school sports. When Title IX passed, it opened doors for generations of female athletes in the Hoosier State and around the country. In the 50 years since Title IX's passing, Indiana has seen countless women create opportunities for the next generation of female student athletes. Pioneers like former IHSAA commissioners Patricia Roy, Mildred Ball, Teresa Wins, and Sandy Searcy. The IHSAA is proud to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the passing of Title IX. We also use this platform during the football state finals to recap other fall sports championships. And with that, let's recap the 3 state finals that were held just a few blocks away a few weeks ago for girls soccer. This is the 1A matchup. Freshman Abby Folk set a state record with a hat trick. 3 goals in the match, and her fellow freshman Kaya Cook would get one more late in the contest. Heritage Christian beats Andrean 4-0 to win their first girls soccer state championship. That was the first game on Saturday. The next game on Saturday, the 2A contest, featured Mishawaka Marion and Evansville Memorial. Mishawaka Marion had a strategy, and that was to play a defensive shell. And it worked until this moment. With less than 90 seconds to go in the second overtime, Ella Hamner with the header finds the back of the net. Memorial would win 1-0, 5th state championship in program history. And finally, we go to the 3A Girls Championship match. The Spartans' star forward, Amelia White, scored just over 10 minutes into the game to give the Spartans the early lead. Sydney Couch would add to that lead late in half number 2. The Greyhounds kept battling. Emily Roper would score one late to draw within 1. However, Homestead would hang on. They win 2-1. First state title in program history, and the second undefeated team in the history of IHSAA girls soccer, which dates back to 1994. Now you have our recap from 3 soccer state finals played on October 30th. With that, we go right back to break. Third quarter action not far away. This 4A state championship game presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
In addition to Pacers basketball, my family's a big fan of 2 things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted Walter to join Bailey, he too gets his bowl of water right from our Connecticut K5 drinking water station. We take our water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system. Improve your water like we do. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for your free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
The 49th annual IHSAA Football State Finals are brought to you by the Indianapolis Colts, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA State Football Tournament. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, presenting broadcast sponsor of the IHSAA Champions Network. And by the following: Methodist Sports Medicine, the orthopedic specialists. Wilson Sporting Goods, the official ball of IHSAA Sports. Indiana Members Credit Union, keeping it simple. Franciscan Health, inspiring health. Menards, save big money on all your home improvement needs. Indiana Careers in Construction. Learn more about apprenticeship programs at builttosucceed.org. Ivy Tech Community College, proud sponsor of the IHSAA Sportsmanship Program. Reach your goal at Ivy Tech. And by Bally Sports Indiana, television broadcast home of the IHSAA Champions Network.
A beautiful night in downtown Indianapolis, nice and toasty inside of Lucas Oil Stadium. Mount Vernon leading Northridge 26-7. Greg Rakestraw, Joe Polizzi, Jeremiah Johnson with you on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Coach, your thoughts on half number one?
Well, I think Coach Leidy kind of told us what was going on before he left the field after the first half. They're going to keep teeing off until they are shown that they can get beat through the air, and that's probably what Northridge has been working on in the air. How are we going to make something happen? They showed they could run the football, but not enough to get their points on the board. Field position has been a factor there, but too much speed on Mount Vernon right now, and the ability to go deep has been Northridge's issue.
Let's talk about how we got here. A look at our first half highlights. They are brought to us by Methodist Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine provider to the IHSAA opening drive. Keegan LaBelle with the touchdown. Eric Sluniger on the interception. That was Cade Signs that would pick that off, but Mount Vernon's defense would get the stand. Burhan the touchdown grab here, and then Burhan would get the first of two Mount Vernon interceptions in the game, and the second one a pick six for Ashton Gentry. This would make the score 20-0. But Northridge continued to battle, and they would find the end zone for the only time so far in this game, as Jethro Hochstetler would make it 20-7. But the Mount Vernon drive to then score again before halftime took less than 80 seconds. Keegan LaBelle gets his second rushing touchdown of the game. Quick look at our Herff Jones halftime stats. Again, the total yardage show, there's not that big of a difference there.
It really does. It looks competitive, and it is competitive. They are able to move the football. It's just at the opportune times, you got to put it in the air.
We'll talk more about these numbers in a moment, but Chad Epley is standing by for his coach's interview with Jeremiah Johnson.
Chad, we knew Mount Vernon had a lot of speed. How did the speed on the field compare to what you saw on film, and what can you do to combat that?
Yeah, we just got to adapt to it. We came out and we weren't really expecting to see how fast they actually were. When we got film going on, things like that, the speed's a little different. So I think we kind of figured it out a little bit there in that second quarter, and we'll get it going here in that second half.
You're within 3 scores. You like to run the football. Can you stick with your game plan offensively at least to start the third quarter?
Yeah, we're still good. We can still pound the rock when we need to, and then we can throw it deep when we want to.
Your guys seem to come out here pretty fired up. They're still pretty in tune to this game.
Yeah, these guys know from the beginning we weren't supposed to beat the first round of sectionals, so for them to be here, they know it's possible.
Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
Jeremiah, thank you very much, Coach Epley. And let's take a look at the stats as well. And again, time of possession can be a big stat. Not so much for Mount Vernon. They've had the ball for 7.5 minutes. They've scored 26 points.
That's what we talked about before the game. They are just explosive, period. And you're right. It doesn't matter how long you hold on to the ball. It's how many times you can make that referee put both hands in the air.
Average yards per play, a more than 2-to-1 advantage on that front for Mount Vernon. And those lower two numbers, more than both coaches would like. 100 yards of penalties and 5 turnovers. Again, you saw the immediate impact of one of those, the pick six for Mount Vernon.
Yes, it got sloppy, and it still may be that way. Again, this is new for these guys, and maybe that's been a distraction for them. But the bottom line is you got to eliminate that if you want to be a serious threat to win this game.
One more game left to play this year. It is a rematch of last year's 6A state championship game. Westfield has not lost since week number 1. Center Grove has not lost since losing in this building to Carmel 2 years ago, and Center Grove attempted to be the first team in the 9-year history of 6A football to go back-to-back. They're also attempting to be of their MIC rivals, Warren, Carmel, and Ben Davis, to one-up them to be the first school to have 3 6A state championships. Number 1, number 2, Westfield and Center Grove. Mark Janes, Lance Scheib, Jeremiah Johnson will have all the action for you coming up as soon as this game is over with. Slated for a 7 o'clock start. I'm not sure we're going to get there, but somewhere in the vicinity of 7 o'clock or thereafter. And it's right here on Valley Sports Indiana, the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, and of course this state tournament series, a presentation of the Indianapolis Colts. Well, Northridge will have the ball to start quarter number 3. Does it have to be points the first drive for the Raiders?
It really does. If you're not getting a touchdown, you want to get a field goal. You desperately need some points. Coach sounded like he was perfectly comfortable with pounding the rock, and he knows how difficult that may be. I'm sure they're going to get back to that quick throwing game, hit the slants, hit the quick outs, drop in the fade. That's going to be the way they're going to have to get on the board. But yes, they need some points this first drive.
To give you an idea, again, to the young nature of both of these head coaches, especially Coach Epley, I noticed that graphic that, 10-4 in his first season. He can literally say he has as many career postseason wins as he does regular season wins right now.
I love the story.
That won't be the case going forward, but again, to have this opportunity and to have this stage, and especially when you've had a community that has played football for over 50 years, as they have it at Northridge High School, and to be the first to break through, the first to get to this point, regardless of what happens in this second half. This is going to be talked about for generations in that area.
Tremendous accomplishment. He's an interesting character. I love the way he presents himself. He's O-line all the way. Just hang
no nonsense,
in there.
Right?
Hang in there. We're going to be fine. We're going to come off the football, and everything's good in the world. Love it.
And each of these two teams, as schools, as programs, have 2 state championships in their history. Northridge, their boys cross country team, won the state title 17 years ago. The softball team won the state championship for Northridge in 1988. For Mount Vernon, their softball team, 2A state champs in 2000. Girls basketball, 3A state champs in 2013. Somebody's going to take home a 3rd state title in program history. Some 24 minutes of game action from now.
Let it rip. I'm excited.
Yaley ready to go. Again, they'll go with the squib kick, the short kick, and that'll be fielded at about the 31-yard line. Ball is covered up by Clint Walker. 53 yards passing in the first half for Northridge, 103 yards rushing. Northridge able to outrush Mount Vernon in half number 1. And again, it's still early enough where you don't have to change your game plan. You can still be primarily a running team. It's just you have to almost get points every time you've got the football, trailing 26-7.
I think they saw that last drive before the half. You got to keep them off balance. You can't let them gang up on you. But yes, you can still run the football.
Gotts, the keeper, does a great job of just kind of steering that fullback where he wanted to go. He'll pick up a couple before Owen Johnson and others are there waiting on him.
Coach Leidy on defense, they're just playing man-to-man. They're not going to play. They don't have a safety in the middle of the field. They're just going to coax you into putting it up in the air and concentrate on getting some pressure.
It's a great point. Every defender right now for Mount Vernon is within 6 yards of the line of scrimmage. You can count 11 helmets on your screen right now. So Gott will throw it. Ball is tipped. Darren Smith read the passing lane beautifully. Got a big paw on that one, 3rd down.
Boy, he liked that slant too, and it was wide open. And without a safety in the middle, that slant could turn into a big play.
Hochstetler was the intended target. Breidenthal was in coverage. It's a 3rd down. Northridge 3 of 9 on 3rd down in this game. Mount Vernon brings 5. Gott steps up and is dropped. The pocket collapses. Kevin Chow there along with Owen Johnson to make the play.
It's a whole different world when you have to drop back and take a 5-step drop and step up and read it. He's much better and much more effective when he could just get the ball and cut it loose.
Johnson, the leading sack artist this year for Mount Vernon. That's 7.5 coming in. Very fitting we bring that up when Robert Mathis is going into the Colts Ring of Honor tomorrow in this building. 2 punt returners trying to take up the same space. Works out well for Williams of Mount Vernon as he will cross the 40-yard line. And Stock's heard this before. Outstanding field position yet again for Mount Vernon. And it is not lost on me, Joe, that you had that as one of 3 keys to this game.
Well, it helps when you can get a punt return like that. I don't know who's running their speed program, their agility program. I know they've got a great one. They have got so many weapons that can run. They just keep coming.
We've referenced this in terms of Mike Kirshner, 2-time state champ at Ben Davis, being there the last 3 years. Knowing Mike the way you do, what fingerprints of his do you see on this team?
Absolutely. When he got the job, very first day on the job, probably before he met with his team, he got him in the weight room. And you know they're doing all that, the fundamentals of speed training and things like that that he grew up
Prior
with.
to the snap, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, that's his imprint. Strength, speed, agility improvement. This team can run. You can see they're well conditioned, and it's tough to beat.
Penalty number 8 against the Marauders for a total of 55 yards. Sluniker throwing the deep ball. Breidenthal's got it. Foot race, wins it. Touchdown. 44-yard completion. Breidenthal, his 6th receiving touchdown of the season. And Mount Vernon had stretched the lead early in quarter number 3. What a move. Tremendous read and throws Cade signs in the play.
Beautiful job. Excellent route. Ran it so well. Cardinal rule as a defender, don't look back to the quarterback and play in the man-to-man coverage. And that got him.
Little swinging gate here. Northridge had it well covered, but Breidenthal made the catch. However, I think from a formation standpoint, perhaps an eligible receiver may have ventured into the end zone.
An eligible man downfield on the offense. That penalty will be declined. The try is no good.
Well, the pass was completed. I'm going to say the penalty might have to be accepted here. Hang on a second.
My apologies. My apologies. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, and we will retry.
It's okay to make mistakes, folks. Just admit them quickly.
And you know what? When he was telling us that first time, he didn't look like he believed what he was saying either.
I think it's been a very well officiated game. Again, that is Eric Lowe, Rusty Lowe, Paul Wren, Travis Horn, Stephen McLaughlin, our 5-man crew for tonight's game. So second time that a penalty has wiped away a 2-point try for Mount Vernon. Yaley, he has unfortunately missed all 3 extra points today. His team still leads by 25. Breidenthal with the 2nd touchdown grab from Garrick Sluniger of the afternoon. The Marauders are off to the races. They lead 32-7 on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. We'll keep it right here. Just 90 seconds into quarter number 3. Well, not the start that Northridge had envisioned. So again, is it just a situation where you kind of doubled down in terms of, hey, stick with what you do best?
I'm not so sure we can still do that. I'm not so sure we can run off tackle. To me, you got to spread them out and you got to try to make some plays. Again, they have been successful with the quick game, throwing the slants and the quick outs and the hitches and then dropping in the fade. That's a lot of mileage to make up when you're trying to run that off tackle play.
So Yaley had some struggles on extra points. Had no problems on kickoffs so far. We have seen a variety of kind of kickoff tries, formations, etc. This, the more conventional look. By Hochstetler at the 11-yard line. And Hochstetler, nowhere to go. Tremendous open field tackle made by Ashton Julian. Julian, kind of the 3rd string running back for this Mount Vernon team.
I have just marveled at the attention to detail, offense, defense, kicking game that Coach Leidy's got going at Mount Vernon. That kickoff coverage was beautiful. They stayed in their lane. They squeezed the football. Everything is done just right. There's no coincidence. They are what they are.
This drive will start at the 21-yard line for Northridge. As we mentioned this earlier, Vince has attempted to become the first former Mental Attitude Award winner. And then later in life become a state championship winning head football coach. On the throw, incomplete pass, signs the intended target. And the other stat line we need to reference in terms of kind of the historical notes for Vince. Has a chance to join his late father, John, in terms of being a father-son duo to win a state football championship. That was a group of one before this weekend. That was Bud Wright and Kevin Wright that had accomplished that. But of course, yesterday, Nick Hart at Gibson Southern joined his father, John, who won state championships at Wrights and Warren Central. And this throw, Miller was the target. Burhan in coverage. Third down.
That's a great story. The father-son is such a great story. Knowing his father like I did, you know there's such pride coming from above to watch this. He was such a good mentor to his players and assistant coaches. I can imagine what kind of a father he was.
Also, Vince, someone that waited for a long time for this opportunity. Gotts just trying to buy some time to find somebody open, and this one is well out of bounds. Signs again the target. But again, just those kind of three straight, hey, we got to throw it in drop back passes. Mount Vernon had those covered, all three.
Yeah. And you can tell it's not what they're best at. It's not what they like to do. It's not what they've been practicing every day. It's foreign to them, and it's difficult to have to come back from that. I still think you can make progress throwing the quick game, and I would recommend it.
Two return men back deep for Mount Vernon. At the 45-yard line, and Williams will catch this one eventually off the hop. And Williams, ball was loose for a moment. He was down before it was ripped away, and the Marauders will have the football at the 49-yard line. Thanks to our friends at Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. You're good at being you. You've been you for years. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance is good at your insurance. Find an agent to help you think about it at infb.com. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood. Hegler will be the ball carrier, or at least the running back on this play. A young man averaging nearly 10 yards a carry as well. And a backup roll to Keegan LaBelle. It's Hegler. And Hegler dancing and making things happen. Eventually, someday, finally, wrestled backwards. Ball is out, but forward progress had been stopped. Gain of 3 on the play. Tackle made by Eric Jennings.
Progress was stopped prior to the fumble. Progress was stopped prior to the fumble.
Well, I hate to belabor the point, but many teams only have 3 or 4 guys that can move their feet like that.
Right.
Mount Vernon they just keep coming.
And they lost their opener against Noblesville, a 6A school. And since then, they have been off to the races. And even in that game, as Hegler will dive forward for the first down, and he'll pick up 11 yards on that carry. Even in that game, Mount Vernon scored 56 or 36 points. They just couldn't slow the much bigger Noblesville squad. And it looks like Mount Vernon, with a 32-7 lead, has realized, hey, the clock is our friend. Let's kind of slow this down and run the football a little bit.
Let's feed these backs.
And Hegler stopped by Howard. A loss of 2 on the play.
Well, we knew they were for real when we saw the New Pal score, right? New Pal's an incredible program, and they went on to be a very strong and deep into the playoffs. But that was a score that caught just about everybody's attention.
Second year in a row that Mount Vernon has defeated their conference and county rival. That was in week 4 with the Marauders winning at 49-10. Flag is thrown.
The motion man might have turned up a little too soon.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Well, something that Mount Vernon has rarely dealt with today. They're a bit behind the chains at 2nd and 17. But again, given the way they have moved the ball at such a pace, you've seen us flash the graphic. They are averaging 9 yards a play offensively. Sluniker looking for the downs, looking for Gentry. Makes the grab. It's 1st and goal.
Got behind him. Nice deep ball. Beautiful blitz pickup by Keegan. I don't know if you saw that, but watch 32 step in. Brennan may not see it, but he did a super job of catching a leaking linebacker. Time to put it up in the air, and they're still going deep.
By the way, of note, the young man in coverage is Micah Hochstetler on that play. Good to see him back on the field. Trey Jones on the jet sweep. And Jones picks up a yard, and that's it. Reference the fact that Trey's dad, Jay, is on the staff at Mount Vernon. Trey's dad, Jay, played for the Indiana Firebirds. We had a couple of former Sons of Colts players last night in the Zionsville game. Another young man whose dad was a professional football player here in this city. Unfortunately, hobbling off the field at the end of that play. 2nd and goal. Hegler the setback with LaBelle as the H-back here. An extra offensive lineman here, too. Hand off to Hegler. And Northridge gets the stop after just a couple of yards. It's 3rd down, and again in a 25-point game, you got to think Mount Vernon's thinking, all right, 2 downs to pick up 6 yards here.
Definitely. They're not looking, they don't need 3. They just want to hold the clock, keep working the football, and get on the board. But back to what you said a minute ago, you may have to fill me in on the Firebirds. I'm not familiar.
The Indiana Firebirds of the Arena Football League that played 4 years here in Indianapolis.
Huh.
Burhan. In motion here with the intended target. Poked away by Sides.
Nice. Good
4th down.
Super man-to-man techniques. Punch the ball out.
No field goal unit here. They'll go for it on 4th down.
Yeah. Feed 32. Will ya? Feed 32.
That was Breidenthal that was the intended target. And to that point, LaBelle's had only 7 carries tonight. One for 69 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Just under 10 a carry. Unbelievable.
Came in averaging 10.6. Blitz coming. Sluniker looking back shoulder. He and Breidenthal not on the same page, and it will be a turnover on downs. This Northridge drive will now start at their own 6-yard line.
Well, that kind of took me by surprise, the way they attacked that red zone and that goal line situation. But they must have felt pretty good about it.
Frankly, I think it's about what their defense has been able to do, stopping Northridge on a couple of drives here in quarter number 3.
You're right. You're right. They are totally confident in their ability to stop this team and force a punt, get field position, and do it again.
Total yardage difference in the second half is pretty substantial. In the 100 to kind of 0 category at this juncture. 4-man rush. Gott steps up, throws the football, and incomplete. That was a committee meeting of 4 or 5 players getting together shy of the 20-yard line. Let's go to the sidelines where Jeremiah Johnson has some information for us.
This is a report the UIndy broadcasters in the booth will appreciate. You mentioned Coach Chad Epley playing at UIndy. Well, I communicated this morning with Bob Bartolomeo, the former UIndy coach that coached Chad Epley. He's not here today. He is in Colorado visiting family, but you know he's paying attention to the game. He's been texting, social media messaging Chad Epley throughout this run, and I asked Coach Bart about Chad as a player. He said he was a very enthusiastic player, tough, tenacious, and well-liked amongst his teammates. I did ask Coach Bart, as that pass is going to be complete for a first down for Northridge, I said, do you have any advice for your pupil today? He said, win, haha, but be yourself. Coach Bart is one of the true classics in Indiana football lore, and he certainly made a positive impact on Chad Epley.
If everybody knows Bart, he puts win in every conversation. So, of course, that's exactly how Bart led the convo about his former player.
Simple and to the point.
That's Bart.
Don't beat around the bush. Win.
Peyton Shook with the catch. That was good for 13 yards. And now a little quarterback draw, and well read by Hayes, limiting the damage to a gain of 1 on the play. And between Joe Polizzi and Bob Bartolomeo, that would cover 25 years of University of Indianapolis Greyhound football. Chris Keevers, who got to campus at UIndy on your inaugural staff in 1994, now serves as the head coach at the University of Indianapolis. In fact, UIndy has had 4 head coaches since 1969.
Amazing.
It's a pretty good run.
Amazing. Says a lot about the school, the leadership, the way they take care of their employees. It's unheard of.
Gott will throw the jump ball, looking for signs, and Breidenthal did a good job to hold up to make sure there wasn't any pass interference there. It's 3rd down. And yes, myself and Joe are just slightly partial to the University of Indianapolis, considering our friendship goes back to our shared first year on campus together in 1994.
Just a couple days ago.
And again, you look the same, is the crazy thing.
No, don't look too close.
3rd down and 9. Mount Vernon brings 5. Gott dropped. Again, Johnson, his 2nd sack of this half.
They're just giving them the scent and turning them loose, playing tight man coverage. It's tough.
And it's 5 on 5, and I think Johnson likes his odds in a 1v1 battle.
Can't imagine the thought process that goes into coming to camp as a tailback and ending the season as a drop back quarterback. Unbelievable.
We referenced Micah Hochstetler in coverage on the last possession for Northridge. He was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season. His goal is that he was going to be able to get back for this game. Asked if he would play quarterback, the answer was no. Run back by Williams, and it's the 2nd outstanding run for Williams on a punt return in this quarter. Mount Vernon leads by 25. We got the football on the plus side of the 35 when we return to Lucas Oil Stadium.
I'm Matt Wolford, president of the IHSAA Foundation, and we need your help. We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to ihsaafoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
Right now, more than ever, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. Make 6 figures a year, have great health insurance, have a great retirement.
It basically is giving me a lot more security financially.
The great benefits of this union is that I've been able to provide for my family.
If they didn't truly believe college was for them, or even if they were on the edge of thinking, I'd push them towards going to a trade.
Ivy Plus helps students navigate the cost of college in 2 ways: tuition and textbooks. Ivy Plus Tuition simplifies what students pay by charging the same tuition rate if they're enrolled in 12 or more credits. You pay the same amount whether you take 12, 15, or even 18 credits, so you can graduate faster while saving money. You'll save even more with Ivy Plus textbooks. Best of all, students in the Fall 21 and Spring 22 will receive their required textbooks at no additional cost.
The IHSAA would also like to thank the Indiana Pacers and Indiana Fever, proud to support Indiana's game at all levels. Connecticut, life is better with Connecticut water. Perf Jones, a varsity achievement brand. Sharp Business Systems, saluting great athletes and even better students. Dellin Automotive, discover the Dellin difference. And Sport Graphics, turning our creativity and experience into your results.
Beautiful look at downtown Indianapolis. Of course, we're right in the heart of it, 5 or 6 blocks away from Monument Circle. The tree lighting ceremony and requisite fireworks that went with it took place during the 5A game a night ago. Fireworks in this one all provided by the Marauders, leading at 32-7. Again, Hegler back in there as the tailback. Little screen pass here to Breidenthal, and he'll have a first down. Wrestled down at about the 18-yard line. Peyton Shook in on the tackle.
Still have their guns blaring, huh? They're not getting simple. They're not getting conservative. They're airing it out. They're running their offense, executing very well. Beautiful job on the timing of that screen.
That puts Sluniker over 200 yards passing on the day. Six in the box here defensively for Northridge. Hegler gets the handoff, and the turf monster got him. So hence he smacks the 18-yard line repeatedly for tripping him up. Second down.
Well, that pulling guard kind of got in his way. He had to make a cut he didn't want to make.
Hegler 8 carries for 21 yards.
They got a nice 1-2 punch, don't they?
They do. And Northridge has largely slowed down the running game today. Better maybe more so than any other team has done this year.
We see those linebackers creeping up, and they're bringing them. Here they come again.
They'll run into the teeth of it, and LaBelle able to stiff arm Jennings, but will lose yardage. A loss of, call it 4 in the playbook, have been forward progress, if you want to call it that, to the 22, and it's third down. Jennings 15 tackles and 4 sacks on the season for the junior defensive end. Sluniker slings this one, touchdown. That's Gentry. His second score of the game, and Mount Vernon rounding into their usual offensive form. The leading scoring team in the state is a point or two shy of 40 late in the third quarter.
Some kind of a mix-up in the secondary. I don't know if they were supposed to pass him off or stay in the zone, but he just kept right on running. Quarterback just watched him in open area, give him the football.
Again, with some of the issues on extra point tries, Mount Vernon will go for 2. Hand off to the fullback, and I don't think they got it. So once again, it will be a no good 2-point try for Mount Vernon. And we will step aside. This 4A state championship game presented by the Indianapolis Colts, and you're watching the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
It's a new era with new faces, the same Colts Nation though. Passionate, loyal, loud, and when teams come into Lucas Oil Stadium, they need to know that it's going to be a long damn day. Let's go!
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
This telecast is copyrighted by the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, videos, and audio without the express written permission of the IHSAA is strictly prohibited. A lot of celebration already going on amongst that Mount Vernon group, and again, certainly deservedly so. 2 years ago, lost at Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon would go on to win lost at Memorial, would go on to win the 4A state championship. Last year knocked off by Roncalli in the regional round, who would go on to win the state championship. Hochstetler on the return, eventually ridden down at the 40-yard line. And again, Mount Vernon seemingly on their way to their first football state crown and their first ever state championship appearance.
I just like the Leidy father and son story, winning titles. I think that's incredible. He's just a spitting image of his dad, and the way he carries himself, the way he leads, and the way he coaches his team. It's just fun for me to watch.
And first year as a head coach, but for so long an assistant coach. And obviously, when your dad is a coach, you grow up thinking like a coach.
I'm sure he's been at numerous practices where he fell asleep on the dummies on the sideline.
Gotts again facing pressure immediately and does well to get rid of that football. See if I can maybe have a conversation about potentially grounding. They won't throw the flag here. Second down. Let's go to Jeremiah Johnson.
Greg, you mentioned the long journey to becoming a head coach. Wanted to share a little bit more on this. He was an assistant at Hamilton Southeastern for 18 years. He said, I applied for a lot of jobs. I didn't get any of them. I stopped counting when it was at 10. He wanted that Mount Vernon job when it opened 3 years ago. And Mike Kirchner, of course, a championship coach, wanted the job, so he knew he was probably not going to get it. But Mike Kirchner reached out to him. The two did not really know each other that well, but he said, let's meet, have a little meal. They met at a Cracker Barrel and discussed things. Mike Kirchner said that he needed a staff. He didn't really know anybody, and he knew that Vince Leidy knew some people and he could potentially help him out, and a bond was formed. And of course, the last 3 years, he and of course Toby Jacobs coached under Mike Kirchner. Mike Kirchner is here today watching the Marauders and had nothing but great things to say about this program now that it's in Vince Leidy's hands. And what a story just of perseverance, because he was frustrated. He did not hide the fact that he wished he could have gotten some of these head coaching opportunities. Now 44 years old, finally gets the chance, and in his first year he's about a quarter and away from a state championship.
Timeout's going to be called by Mount Vernon. They didn't like their defensive formation.
Mount Vernon, first charge timeout of the half.
And again, knowing Mike Kirchner, he's never met a stranger, so it's not surprising.
This will be a 60-second timeout, a 60-second timeout.
To me, that he goes, hey, you and I don't know each other, but I know of you. Let's break some bread and let's see if we can figure this out. That is a classic Mike Kirchner story.
Classic. And also, when we met with Coach Leidy earlier in the week, he went on, yeah, I was an assistant for a long time, but I was taking good notes. I was under some people. He was under some coaches. He mentioned a couple of them, Rob Cutter and those type guys that you just, as a young coach, you just pay attention and learn and grow. And I'm sure he had notebooks filled that he carried with him when he got this job.
So third down coming up. This program had not won a football regional until 2 years ago. Here they are, likely on their way to a state championship. Little pump and go. Mount Vernon has it covered and ball is tipped on that throw. Pressure applied by Kellen LaBelle. And it's fourth down. And you would assume, again, at 38-7 late in the third quarter, it's a punt coming up here for Northridge. And you got so many young men that are two-way players. It's not exactly much of a punt team.
Yeah, one or two run on.
Yep.
Punter stays there as quarterback. Same guy.
God's kick, another high one. Fair catch called for by Hegler at the 35-yard line, a kick of 25 yards. Again, a reminder, one more football game left to go this IHSAA season, and it will be a great one. 6A #1 Center Grove looking to make it 28 consecutive wins and become the first team to go back-to-back since the formation of 6A in 2013. They will take on Westfield, who made their debut in a 6A state championship game last year. Jake Gilbert's team, they have won their last 12 games. They look to knock off Center Grove following this one. Again, slated for a 7 o'clock start. It will be a bit later. Center Grove and Westfield right here on Valley Sports Indiana and the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Toss play goes to LaBelle, and LaBelle will stay in bounds from a progress standpoint. Gain of 5 on the play, and you'll take that every snap going forward if you're Mount Vernon.
Such a good back. He really was not featured today. They didn't need him, but you can tell he is just one breath away from popping it and going. And going back to Center Grove, a guy that can write a book on how to build a program. Coach Moore, what he's done there is spectacular. And any young coach, if you want to be successful, take him to lunch.
LaBelle on the carry for 4 yards, and Mount Vernon will not need to snap the ball again before we get to quarter number 4. And it has been all facets of this game for the Marauders today. They will tell you by their own explosive standards, maybe they've not done as much offensively as they are accustomed to, yet they have a 31-point lead going to the final quarter of this 4A state championship game. This 4A game presented by the Indianapolis Colts. You're watching on the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
It's a new era with new faces, the same Colts nation though. Passionate, loyal, loud, and when teams come into Lucas Oil Stadium, they need to know that it's going to be a long damn day. Let's go!
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
Mount Vernon leads Northridge 38-7 as we get ready to start the 4th quarter of the Class 4A State Championship, presented by the Indianapolis Colts. Kelsey Rolls is the Community Relations Manager for the Indianapolis Colts, and I think nothing says community and Colts more like seeing the IHSAA State Football Finals here at Lucas Oil Stadium. How special is this weekend for the organization?
It's awesome. We love, every year being the presenting sponsor of post-state games and state finals weekend, and so it's just great Thanksgiving week to end with this. See the progression of youth football and high school football in Indiana. I know there's some kids committed to state schools, so really excited to see them playing out here today and the beginning of their careers, hopefully.
If you want to follow your work on social media, it's at Colts Community. Maybe share with some of the viewers what's been going on, not just this past week with Thanksgiving, but also looking ahead to My Cause, My Cleats in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great stuff going on. So this week, headed into Thanksgiving, we served 2,000 families for Horseshoe Helpings at the stadium. Then we had 7 different player Thanksgiving distributions here and in their hometowns, so really awesome stuff. But next week, week 13, the NFL is My Cause, My Cleats week, so really excited. We'll have over 60 players, head coach Frank Reich, the Irsay family, general manager Chris Ballard will all be supporting causes near and dear to their hearts, so really excited to see that come out and then wear their hearts on their sleeves, on their cleats, so we're excited for them to get to showcase what they care about.
6 high school football games here this weekend, and then we've got an NFL game on Sunday. How much is everyone looking forward to Tampa Bay and Indianapolis tomorrow.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's going to be some chills just to be in here tonight. In about 12 hours, I'll be back, and hopefully everyone will be in blue. It'll be loud. We'll bring the juice for everybody. We're excited for tomorrow.
Kelsey Rolls is the Community Relations Manager for the Indianapolis Colts. Thanks so much for having us, and enjoy the game tomorrow.
Thank you.
Jeremiah, thank you very much. And Kelsey, thank you very much for the time. And there's a lot of folks behind the scenes that have worked these broadcasts the last 2 days that have a 6 a.m. call time to be here tomorrow for a 1 o'clock kickoff for the Colts and Bucks. And the Colts seemingly always play on Thanksgiving weekend after the state finals, in large part because the Big Ten championship game is here next weekend. I'll finish that thought as Hegler finishes that run. Touchdown, Mount Vernon from 54 yards out, and put another 40 spot on the board, as they seemingly have done all season long for the Marauders of Mount Vernon.
Well blocked at the point of attack. One cut, and there he goes. Beautiful cut, by the way. Speed kills, especially when you can execute like that up front. Beautiful job. First really big play that we've seen, and I thought at that time they were just going to milk the clock and try to go 4 yards in a cloud of dust, but no, sir.
And Yaley gets the extra point to go. They'll make it 45-7. Hegler had 21 yards in his first 7 carries. This one goes for 54. Coach, what'd you see?
One cut, well blocked, great speed. Pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
15th game of the season. 13th time that Mount Vernon has scored 40 or more points. The 2 times they did not, they scored 36 against 6A Noblesville, and they scored 27 against the #1 team in 4A and the defending state champs in Roncalli.
Well, you know, everybody was surprised by that game, the Mount Vernon Roncalli game. Roncalli, it was an excellent, probably one of the top 10 schools in the whole state. But there's no question what's going on here and why they're so successful. They run, they block, they tackle, they have great speed, they're well coached in the right spots. This is no accident. This is a great football program.
Yaley's kick is away. And this one will go all the way to the end zone for the automatic touchback. So the Raiders will start this drive at the 20-yard line, and now you're trying to find the end zone one more time. That's the goal if you're Northridge.
You know, he's got a lot of 11th graders out there, especially on his offense, and I'm sure he's using this as a classroom. We're going to teach our guys how we're going to get back here and be more successful.
Let's talk about the benefit of this run for Northridge. Again, it's not going to end in a state championship at this juncture. However, you've gotten 4 to 5 more weeks of additional practice than maybe you thought you might have, or you've had in years gone by. There's what you're doing to inspire the future generations of this program, but from a very real sense, you've had a lot more time to work with your kids over the last month.
Exactly. You bring everybody up, and they're coached with the varsity coaches. Techniques got refined. Attitudes got built. Chemistry was built. And, you know, this is a great indication of a team that really had no idea they would go this far. But with one little quote like, "Why not us?"
Yep.
All of a sudden we're here.
Tag Gott loses a yard on the play. And starting to see some of the twos rotate in defensively now for Mount Vernon. Several of the kind of two-way guys from Mount Vernon just came off the field. Gott will pick up 3 on the play. Tackle made by Aiden Lindstrom. First time we have called his name tonight. Third down.
I say Gott is going to sleep well tonight.
He may sleep on the bus on the way home at this point.
Has he been off the field? I don't know.
A lot of young men playing all 3 phases for this Northridge team. Looking to throw out in the flat and just overthrows his target. And that is Ridge Howard, who has seen the same number of snaps that Gott has. And it's 4th down. And again, let's also point out, this would be the time during the regular season that you would go to the running clock. Once it gets to 35 or more, That does not occur during a state championship game. So no running clock scenario here at Lucas Oil Stadium.
You know, I was just about to ask you that question. Serious. I'm wondering why not. I also marveling at the fact that you've got an inside linebacker that's playing a great game for Northridge, and he's also your wideout.
Gentry calls for the fair catch, the 46-yard line. So the Marauders. Let's see if it's going to be Sluniker or if it's more of the backups that come out here for Mount Vernon. Kind of a mix, looks like, of the ones and twos at this point.
He may put him in a play and let him come off the field and get an ovation. But this is a great opportunity to give some young Cubs a shot at the big lights.
This is the ones as of now. Believe it or not, this is not the first Gehrig to appear in a football state championship game. About a decade ago, a young man named Gehrig Dieter was the star wide receiver for South Bend, Washington. Gehrig would go on to play at the University of Alabama, owns a Super Bowl ring with the Kansas City Chiefs, and Gehrig is now done, it looks like, for this one.
Mount Vernon. This would be a 60-second timeout.
That is simply a curtain call timeout is what that was. Gehrig Sluniger with the wave to the fans, and Tyler Etherington will replace him. But I bring up that story about Gehrig Dieter because Gehrig Sluniker's father and grandfather are both IHSA officials. They were working the game that day that Gehrig Dieter played in that 4A state championship game. Time now for our Indiana Members Credit Union highlight of the game. Indiana Members Credit Union keeping it simple. The pick six for Ashton Gentry. This turned it from a 2-score game to a 3-score game. And Northridge would score after, but never seriously threatened from this point on.
Speed kills, well coached, excellent job. You know, this is quite a story with this program, too. 4 years ago, nobody knew about Mount Vernon as a football power, and now they're up there with the biggies.
And this is a community that continues to grow on the northeast side of Indianapolis. So here is Tyler Etherington. He's going to get some run here. Etherington just a sophomore, so he's the quarterback of the future. And now the foundation of this program has been laid. There's a lot of seniors that play key roles for this Mount Vernon team. Now what can the next group do with a lot more spotlight on the program going forward? Burhen and Jones remain in there. This is Julian. Flag is thrown. We mentioned the fact that he's kind of the third string tailback behind Hegler and LaBelle. Hegler and LaBelle both seniors. Julian a junior. You would assume that's a holding penalty being called here.
During the run,
yes.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, second down.
And it takes that long to get outside, and then you could still get outside. There's a good chance somebody grabbed hold. But this is a nice prospect as a tailback, too. One more cut there, and he would have been off to the races.
Rylan Robinson there as a flanker as well. Fake the jet sweep, hand off to Julian, and Northridge makes the play. Max Petersheim from his nose guard position makes the play. He's a junior. And 26 tackles in the season coming in.
I don't think this second offensive line got the reps this week. They're not really sure on some of these assignments, and Northridge is feasting.
I don't think they had as much of the Thanksgiving dinner either. They're a little smaller than the previous group. Etherington lost the football, goes right in the hands of Peyton Shook. He's going to walk this in for a touchdown. Again, just simply out of the hands of the quarterback, and Shook gets his second pick of the game, and it turns into a pick six for the Raiders.
I love it. Never give up. Keep coming. That ball just kind of slipped right out of his hands up into the air.
Out of Etherington's hands and right into Peyton Shook. And listed as an inside linebacker.
There we go.
And ball just, again, finds him for a score.
He says, look at this. I'm going to score in a state championship game.
So he probably did not, think about having 2 interceptions in a state championship game. And the extra point try is up and good. That's Dylan Ritchie. That converts it to make it 45-14 with 8:38 left to go in the contest.
That's a tribute to his coaching staff over there. Northridge, nobody's giving up, nobody's laying down. They're going to keep coming, keep battling after it. That was a good defensive set. Then ended up in a turnover and a score. Those are things to build off of. These are things you're putting on the highlight tape at the banquet that do nothing but build enthusiasm and momentum for the coming years.
Want to say hello to my good friend Scott Radiker. That is the basketball coach at Northridge. He has done a tremendous job his first years in that program. A pair of sectional titles in his first years. I know he's got a couple of his players that are playing in this game for the Raiders today, including Micah Hochstetler, back from injury and on to basketball very soon. Going to wish him and the Raiders best of luck this basketball season. And Janatello kind of lining up like this might be an onside kick the way he is standing on this one. Let's see if Mount Vernon's got the hands team ready. Takes the high hop, but goes right to Julian, who immediately takes a seat at the 44-yard line. And now every first down is a victory for Mount Vernon, trying to put this game on ice.
Yeah, just getting this second group's blocking schemes down, execution down, feel good about how you finish the game. Let's don't give up right now and put our happy hats on. Let's block, let's finish, let's do what we talked about since we got in the weight room after last season's game. Execute.
And Etherington will be reminded about ball security. Play clock is at 3. Hand off to Julian. It's back to the line of scrimmage. And understandably, Northridge has their 1 still out there. And you have that right in a 45-14 game.
And they're bringing them. Both backers come on that play.
Finishing strong is will be their motto and credo for this final 8:15.
Well, it's been an incredible journey for them, incredible story. And this is the way Mount Vernon started just a couple of years ago. You got some belief, and now you get a little more effort in the weight room, a little more intensity when you're running your speed training. And lo and behold, you're right back here.
Hand off to Julian, finds a little bit of room to run, picks up 5 yards, and Etherington was waiting for that play clock to get as close to 0 as possible before taking that snap. And it sets up 3rd down. The baseball team reached the semifinals of 4A in June. The basketball team has the Girard twins that have committed to play at IUPUI next year. They've got great expectations for baseball coming again this spring too. So this is part of a very good athletic run for the Marauders. Jones, the motion man, and gets the handoff, and Jones dropped. That's Jennings that makes the play. Jones might need a moment on this one.
Yeah, that was a little vicious. He sliced through there and grabbed hold of anything he could.
I hope that Jones is all right.
Yeah,
my timeout. Officials timeout.
Good.
We mentioned the fact that he has dealt with a couple of hand injuries during the course of the season. Kind of pointing to that area right above his knee, and pretty sure that's his dad Jay that's out there talking to him. Trey's grandparents, Jay's folks, live in Virginia, and they made the trip to come watch him play in this state championship game today. Trey might be done for the day. In reference to the fact that Jay played for the Indiana Firebirds. Another son of a former Firebird was set to play tomorrow here at Lucas Oil Stadium, except he's injured, not going to make the trip. And son has kind of become more famous than dad. That would be Antonio Brown of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. whose dad is touchdown Eddie Brown of Arena League fame and spent time with the Indiana Firebirds as well. New punter is out there for Mount Vernon. And that hit a Northridge player. That's a live football. But Northridge falls on it. And again, that is Micah Hochstetler. So Micah began the year as the quarterback for Northridge, got injured. Eventually, Tag Gott became the quarterback. But for Micah, it was a battle to get back for this game. And he gets to play in the state championship.
Unforgettable moments for these guys.
And if you're Northridge, you did get that additional score off of your defense. Let's see if it's the ones or the twos that will get the nod here for Coach Epley. And again, a reminder, we'll have the 6A state championship game that immediately follows this one. That was slated for a beginning of just after 7 o'clock. We won't hit that time frame, but in the not too distant future, the final game of this IHSAA football season. And Gott will ask for a timeout. Is Northridge late getting on the field?
Timeout. Northridge.
So will we have any more Firebird?
That's
trivia?
it. That's the extent of the Firebird references I was going to make on the broadcast today. You pull that out when it's 45-14 in the fourth quarter. Back with more of this championship game that's presented by the Indianapolis Colts.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
In addition to Pacers basketball, my family's a big fan of two things: rescue dogs and great Connecticut water. So when we adopted Walter to join Bailey, he too gets his bowl of water right from our Connecticut K5 drinking water station. We take our water quality seriously, which is why we also have a whole home water treatment system. Improve your water like we do. Visit ConnecticutIndy.com for your free in-home water test. Connecticut, official sponsor of the Indiana Pacers.
The Westfield Shamrocks await their opportunity here at Lucas Oil Stadium. They play Center Grove for a second consecutive season. Center Grove won last year, trying to make it a clean sweep in 6A again this year. It's our second rematch of the weekend here at Lucas Oil. Jethro Hochstetler and a mixture of ones and twos. That's one of the primary defenders in Owen Johnson, a name we have called a lot in the second half, that makes the tackle for Mount Vernon.
Little trickeration, huh?
Johnson now gets the curtain call as he comes off the field. Colton Plank as well. Gets a handshake and a hug from Coach Leidy and others. So second and long. There's a good idea of the day that Owen Johnson had for Mount Vernon. Handoff, that's Miller on the grab. Nope, my apologies. That time the ball carrier is Kane Holderreed. First time we have called his name, the senior. Tackle for Mount Vernon made by Ethan Lynch. And it's third down.
Unforgettable moments. This will put a charge of adrenaline into that whole area. Added boost to the football program, the youth leagues, the whole thing.
Gott. Pressure applied. Throws, and the catch is made. That's Miller. Or Walker, excuse me. Walker on the grab.
Look at that. He's turned into a pocket passer. Did you see that? Beautiful job.
8th completion of the day, and get it out to the 46-yard line and converts on a 3rd and long distance. And Northridge would like to get one more score. And that reference already, but a little bit different now with the offense on the field. Good hard running by Holder Reed.
Yes, sir. They're playing hard. They're competing hard, running hard. That's a tribute to the staff and the parents and the players. Such great pride.
Mount Vernon. It's a remarkable stat. There are 4 high schools in Hancock County. They have all now made an appearance in a state championship game. Greenfield Central made it back in the early days of the 70s. New Pal, of course, has had a dominant run as of late with multiple state championship game appearances and victories. Eastern Hancock has played in a 1A state final over the years as well. Here's Mount Vernon winning 45-14 in their first appearance. And Gott is dropped. Be a loss of 1 on the play. Tackle made by the Marauders and Jaden Gibson. And stay tuned post game. We'll have the presentation of the Mental Attitude Award, the championship and runner-up trophies, the championship and runner-up medals. Jeremiah Johnson will talk with Coach Epley of Northridge, Coach Leidy of Mount Vernon. Our Mental Attitude Award winner, key participants on the winning side for Mount Vernon too. All coming up in our between game show that follows the conclusion of this one. Gott down the sideline, and it's dropped. Signs had his hands on it. Couldn't hang on to it. 4th down at midfield. But again, you would assume the offense will stay on the field for the Raiders.
Nice aggressive attempt at getting that football. Couldn't quite pull it in, but I'm impressed with what's going on in the quarterback position here. He's getting better and better and better. More comfortable dropping back. This will be an interesting offseason for that young man.
Blitz coming. Gott out in the flat. Incomplete pass.
They'd hit on the quarterback.
With that, it'd be a first down if that's the case. Braden Maxey, the intended target.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I'm not sure how concerned you are with looking at the final box score when you're leading 45-14, but coaches always want to find something to harp on. 12 penalties for 90 yards against the Marauders tonight.
Yeah, that is very uncharacteristic. No explanation. Just it got away from them. Lots of distractions going into this first title game, things like that. But no, that is not going to go over big in the staff room.
Gott lost the football. Offensive lineman or running back, it's Holder Reed that falls on it. There have been a total of 6 turnovers in tonight's game. 20 points off of those turnovers between the two teams combined. Mount Vernon joining Andrean, Lutheran, Gibson Southern, and Cathedral as our state champs from games played earlier this weekend. Gott will be dropped. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And on the tackle for Mount Vernon, Tachi Anawan makes the play. Jacob Lewis also in on the tackle. 3rd down. I think any hard feelings about this game, if you're Northridge, can go away relatively quickly. Another timeout taken by Mount Vernon.
Timeout on the field, Mount Vernon.
Again, that's basically just to get a player into the game and a player off of the field. So one more time, Vince Leidy will become the 5th first-year head coach to win a state championship. He'll become the 3rd father-son combination to win a state championship. His father, John, passed away in 2016. As Jeremiah referenced, the field at Castle High School is named in his father's honor. Won over 200 games and 2 state titles in 82 and 94 at Castle High School. I know Bud Wright was here for the earlier contest. There's Kevin right there is Bud. So Bud has made the broadcast now in both the 2A and the 4A state championship games, the all-time winningest coach in the history of Indiana high school football. It means we got to find a way to get him on the 6A broadcast and get the clean sweep that way too. So Vince becomes the third father-son combo with his dad John, and also sees some new faces in there for Northridge. New quarterback is in, Cade Carrington, again, who did see time earlier this year.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
So Carrington this year at quarterback. 23 for 44, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Okay, this is his 8th appearance of the season. Trying to make sure if you're in uniform, you get to play in today's game. We have reached that part of the festivities. Bobbled snap, loose ball, Carrington falls on it. It'll be 4th down.
I'm looking at Tag. He's played every down of this game. Bring in a backup quarterback. He stays in at tailback. Amazing. That's toughness.
So he has moved from quarterback to running back, which is where he began the season.
And that one carry, the first carry of this series, he got nailed.
And on the throw, incomplete pass, and 4th down and turnover on downs, and it's frankly victory formation time. And Keegan LaBelle is leading the celebration from Mount Vernon. Well, the southern half of the bracket was the stronger half of the bracket this year in 4A. In the Sagarin ratings at the end of the year, the top 7 teams in those ratings in 4A, all in the southern half. Great teams like Mooresville, East Central that were a part of that. Chittard, of course, in 4A this year as well after winning the last 2 3A state championships. Mount Vernon outlasted both Roncalli and Memorial to get to this game. And bested Northridge this afternoon. The senior in Sluniker is back out there for victory formation. And it will not be a long bus ride back to Fortville, McCordsville, and the northwest corner of Hancock County. For these folks, it'll feel like it takes 2 minutes to get home tonight after the way this one plays out.
And there'll be fire trucks and police cars and sirens welcoming them back. What a story. I mean, really, 5 years ago, Mount Vernon football was nowhere near this kind of in this type of thought process.
Sluniker takes the snap. That's it. No need for further action tonight. First-year head coach, first-time program in the state championship game, and looked like they'd been here all their lives. And congratulations to Vince Leidy, who becomes the first person in the history of Indiana high school football to win the Mental Attitude Award and then turn around and be a state championship football coach. He and Chad Epley will exchange handshakes. Zeros on the board. The Mount Vernon Marauders, first time 4A football state champions. So 45-14 our final score. Sluniker 235 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Keegan LaBelle 76 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Trevon Hegler 75 yards rushing and a touchdown. Ashton Gentry both a receiving touchdown and a defensive touchdown in tonight's game. And Jeremiah Johnson is standing by with Vince Leidy.
Vince Leidy, you've had your whole life to prepare for this game, but when you execute the way you did, really on both sides of the football, how good does it feel?
It feels good. You know, I was kind of talking earlier to some of the coaches, a little frustrated because it's great that we won. We feel great for the kids, community, but I felt we weren't as sharp as we needed to be. But it's the last game of the year. You just got to win by 1. So credit to Northridge on a great game. They had a great run. We came out tonight and we made a few more plays than they did. So I'm really proud of our kids, our coaching staff. So it's a great day to be a Marauder.
As the clock winded down, you looked up to the fans, and now you're players are going over there to thank them. How has this community rallied around your team?
Just been behind us 100%. I think earlier in the year we talked about, and our kids more than me, but they really bought into the fact that they didn't think they got respect or whatever in the rankings, and that doesn't bother me. It doesn't impact me. But the kids, we knew that the guys in the locker room, the coaches, the family, the community, the people in the school, they backed us, and our kids never backed down. And so we came out tonight, and those guys played at a high level. We did a great job. I'm really proud of them.
You won a state championship at the RCA Dome as a player. You learned so much from your dad, and now you're here as a head coach in your first year as a head coach. Could you describe these emotions you're feeling right now?
Well, I'm sure he'd be proud. It's pretty tough. He coached a long time, and he only got here twice, and it's hard. So, I just hope we did it the right way, and we come back. We're going to enjoy it for more than 24 hours. And I told those kids, I said, I was on the screen earlier, and I'm like, hey, you'll figure it out, and you'll go out and make plays. And I said, it's something they'll never take away from you. And so, I saw a screen earlier, a flashback. So, for my first year, words can't describe it. So I'm extremely blessed and lucky, and we'll just come back and we'll reload in the off season some other time, but we're going to enjoy it tonight. So it's a great day to be a Marauder.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Vince, congratulations. Time now for the IHSAA Phil and Askew Mental Attitude Award, proudly presented by the Indianapolis Colts. Honored to support outstanding student athletes.
Now, presenting the Phil N. Askew Mental Attitude Award on behalf of the IHSAA Executive Committee is Nathan Dean from Jimtown High School.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to first welcome Kelsey Rolls, Community Relation Manager for the Indianapolis Colts, and Dr. Phil N. Askew Jr., son of former IHSAA Commissioner Phil N. Askew, and current board chairman of the IHSAA Foundation, to assist with the presentation of the 2021 Phil N. Askew Mental Attitude Award for Class A football. The Indianapolis Colts, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA State Football Tournament, will award a $1,000 scholarship to the winner's school. On behalf of the IHSAA, please join us in saying thank you to the Indianapolis Colts for their generous support of student athletes and high school football in Indiana. After we announce the name of the recipient, we invite his parents to join him on the field. The recipient of this award was selected by the IHSAA Executive Committee. The student was nominated by the coach, principal, excelled in mental attitude, athletic ability, scholarship, and leadership during his 4 years of high school. The winner of the 2021 Phil N. Askew Mental Attitude Award for Class 4A football is Garrig Sluniker of Mount Vernon Fortville High School.
Hi, I'm Frank Reich, head coach for your Indianapolis Colts. In the game of football, it's more than what takes place on the field. It's the mental toughness and willingness to become a leader in the locker room and your community. This award embodies what we instill in our players. On behalf of the entire Colts organization, we congratulate you on winning the Indianapolis Colts Phil N. Askew Mental Attitude Award.
Congratulations to Garrig. And we referenced his stat line in terms of today's game. On the season, he finishes with 34 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Of his 12 completions today, 3 go for touchdowns. As we mentioned, he is an outstanding athlete. Did spend some time playing basketball during his high school days, but his focus has been on baseball and football, and clearly it's worked out well. A semi-state and won last year, a state champion in this sport this year, and he is standing by with Jeremiah Johnson.
Garrig Sluniker has thrown for over 8,000 yards in his high school football career, but this is how he wanted his football prep season to come to an end with the state championship, now the mental attitude as well. What does this day and this game and this tournament run mean to you personally?
This is amazing. Can't explain this feeling with all these fans here. This is crazy. It's a dream come true. You know, all the hard work our team puts in together, finally paying off. It's amazing.
As the clock winded down, I saw you and some other teammates going and just, shaking hands, congratulating. What have the last couple of years been like, and did you always think this was possible?
You know, we definitely knew it was possible. We just had to, you know, keep working for it, go to work every day. I just love my teammates. I don't know, I can't say enough about them. I wouldn't be who I am today without them. My parents, for putting me in the right situations. It's amazing. I don't know what else to say.
3.8 grade point average. I know you've played basketball. You're a baseball player as well. So many extracurricular activities and community service events as well. How do you manage to make time for everything? And what's your message to a youngster who might be watching at home saying, I want to be like Garrick Slunaker?
Oh, you know, just dream big. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything. You know, before this year, everyone said we weren't going to be anything, but, you know, we just went to work. If you work hard enough, you can do anything you put your mind to.
I hope kids were taking notes. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Jeremiah and Garrick, thank you very much. The Iron Horse is about to get a blue ribbon put around his neck, but we will start with the young men from Northridge High School. Again, not the color of ribbon that they wanted, but at the same time, a tremendous achievement just to get to this point for a first time in program and community history.
Well, it's a dream come true, really, for these type players. Plus, it's a great illustration of how your life can go. You're not expected to do great things, maybe, but the fact is, if you stick to the pattern, you work hard, you do what you're supposed to do, you show up every day, great things will happen for you. These kids will never forget this, and it'll only be a launching pad for continued success in this school.
For this Northridge program, they were 5-4. They had lost 4 of their last 5 games. Their last 2 games were of the running clock variety, and you were facing a team that had beaten you by 30-some points before you played them in the opening round of the tournament. The story changed at that time for Northridge. Let's go down to the sidelines. Is Jeremiah Johnson.
Chad Epley and Northridge here for the first time in school history. I know this game did not end the way you wanted, but could you put into words what this run has been like, what this season has been like for you?
Yeah, I pulled our kids over after the loss and things like that, and I got them all together, and I told our seniors they should never hold their heads down. They should be proud of this moment because they have done something that no one else in school history has done. They've come from an 0-9 football team as a freshman class to now making a state finals appearance when they were supposed to lose the first round of sectionals. They've now shown our youth programs and our middle school that it is possible for the little town of Middlebury to make the trek down to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Speaking of that, I look up in the crowd and I see all of that green. What has the support been like, and how instrumental is that as you try to continue to build this program?
It's incredible. All week I've been telling people that our community support has been phenomenal. We could have not done the things that we've done without our community and the community support. So the fact that they made the 3-hour trek down here on Thanksgiving weekend is unbelievable for us. I mean, we have nothing but gratitude to our fans and our community.
You mentioned the seniors. What about the underclassmen who now have a little bit of a taste and they have a goal to shoot for, a tangible goal while they're working out in the off season, the winter and the summer?
Yeah, the best thing about our team is they've been a huge family. So the fact that our juniors, are able to support our seniors, and now that they're going to be the seniors leading this team, I have no doubt in my mind that they're already looking forward to next year and being back here again.
Fantastic job this season, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
Chad, thank you very much. We'll hear more from Jeremiah coming up in a bit. To give you an idea, lost 36-3 to Warsaw. Bart Curtis has done a great job at Warsaw. They're now in 6A. Northwood, who has been one of the better teams in 4A perennially in the northern half of the state, they lost that game 42-8 in week 6, then turned around and beat Northwood 28-7 in the opening round of the sectional. After beating Goshen, Northridge then lost to a very good Concord team in 5A, 40-7. And then Mishawaka, also a perennial conference power in the Northern Lakes, 58-14. And after beating Northwood, they then beat Columbia City. The big upset was knocking off Leo in the sectional championship game. They were number 2 in the state, 27-26. Defense was phenomenal against Mississinawa and winning that regional game 25-7. And again, an interception and a 76-yard touchdown pass with just a couple of minutes left to go set up Northridge to make this trip here. And again, I'm no disappointed at the final score, but nothing but wonderful memories about the way the last 5 weeks unfolded that can change the future of the football program at Northridge High School.
Exactly, and Coach said that in his interview. He expects that this will be a ripple effect that will go all the way down through everybody that will have an opportunity to play football at any level in his community. And not only will it affect those in the community and those youngsters, it's going to affect him. He will have tremendous growth as a result of this run. He's going to be on the speaking tour. Every clinic is going to want to hear this story and how he made things happen in the first year, which is going to force him to go out and talk to some other coaches, learn some new things, and gain and progress personally, which will only be a boost for the whole community.
Let's go back to the field. Start some of the players from Mount Vernon, as one of their stars of today is standing by with Jeremiah Johnson.
The quarterback, Garrett Sluniker, was the Mental Attitude Award winner. We talked with him. Now someone on the receiving end of some of those passes, Ashton Gentry. Ashton, when you looked at the game plan, you thought about this week what you needed to do to win a state championship. How close did the dream come into execution today?
Oh my gosh. First off, it feels amazing, and it came into execution through our coaching staff and our quarterback who knows how to get people the ball, and our coaching staff who knows how to, switch up the formations and run different plays, and they did a great job of that today.
You scored a touchdown on offense and on defense. Are you tired now? And what's the key to being successful on both sides of the ball?
Not gonna lie, I was definitely a little gassed in the first quarter, but as play progressed, I got more, excited and energized, and, the feeling now is incredible, and I don't feel tired at all now.
You remember when you entered high school, did you think Mount Vernon would be a state champion by the time you were a senior?
If I'm going to be honest, yes. I knew it. I knew it since I was in 5th grade, and we've always, dreamed of it, but for it to become a reality today is amazing.
You look up and you see all the fans that came out from Fortville and all the support you've gotten. What does it mean?
It means everything. Our fans are great. Our student section is great. We love you guys. Appreciate it.
Ashton Gentry, congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeremiah asked a great question there in terms of, hey, did you dream about this? And this is a group, the senior class in Mount Vernon, that they had success kind of at every step along the way in terms of youth events and tournaments, and sometimes being great as a 5th grade football team or an 8th grade football team doesn't always translate to success at the state championship level. For this Mount Vernon program, it did. For the young men you see on your screen from Northridge, Julian Cottle, Evan Carr, Clint Walker, Tyler Gordon, Trent Jensen, Peyton Shook amongst these seniors, Ridge Howard, Matt Rutledge, Micah Hochstetler. Those were kind of the key seniors that played both ways for this Northridge team. Love to see the smile on Chad Epley's face again after, even in defeat, knowing the accomplishment that this program and community has put together just to get to this point. Those men that I mentioned, the seniors that end their football career here, at least at Northridge High School. For the rest, they can all try to come back and build on this for a year from now.
Exactly. It's a tremendous example. As I said earlier, it's a launching pad. Great things will happen. They'll work hard. They've learned some things. They will use some outside resources to better themselves, and they'll be back again.
Micah Hochstetler, the injured Brock Reshley amongst those that are standing to receive this trophy. Again, they had hoped for a larger one. They had hoped for the blue medals, but they have inspired a community. Congratulations to the Northridge Raiders. Your runners-up for the first time in 4A football. Job well done, men, on making it farther than any group has ever done so in the history of your community and of your high school. With that, it is time to present the championship medals to the Mount Vernon Marauders. And a young man that was a defensive star today for Mount Vernon is standing by with Jeremiah Johnson.
We talk so much about the Mount Vernon offense. Have to give some props to the defense. Owen Johnson, a big part of that unit. What was the key to your game plan defensively?
My game plan was just beat them with speed, get outside, contain the edge. We didn't contain the edge very well at the beginning of the game. We fixed that, and it ended up working really well. Got a lot of tackles, got a lot of sacks, and just kept sticking with that.
I know Coach Leidy is the defensive coordinator, so he has you guys always looking over. And how much do you feed off the inspiration that he provides?
Oh, he's always keeping the energy high. Whenever he's going and he's doing good, we're doing good, and we just feed off him so much.
What makes this senior class special?
What makes it special is that we've been together since we were little kids, first, second, third grade. We have that special bond that I don't think many other teams have in the state. We just bond, we gel together really well, and we just always know how each other are going to play and how to keep each other up.
Coach Jacobs told me before the game, his last words to you were he doesn't want to remember that Greenwood game when you were a freshman on the bus ride. Do you remember that night?
Yeah, I remember that night. I wasn't as sad as sophomore and junior year because I wasn't really playing, but I saw everyone around me how sad they were. I didn't want to have that feeling ever again.
No tears now, just tears of joy, maybe.
Tears of joy, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
To Owen Johnson, and this is an extensive senior class for Mount Vernon, but key contributors today might take a while. Avery Williams, Kevin Chow, Garrick Sluniker, Darren Smith, Ashton Gentry, Trevon Hegler, Keegan LaBelle, Maxwell Hayes, Owen Johnson. Other key seniors that saw snaps today, Rajon Wells amongst that group. Addison Young, Cole Herman, their starting left tackle. And Luke Heiner, one of their top linebackers / defensive backs. So again, there's a lot of talent that is wearing this Mount Vernon uniform for the final time. So Vince Leidy and staff will have a task to build from those that return and try to maintain this level. But that's what you do as a program. You've reached the mountaintop, you've reached the pinnacle, and now you try to build and improve from here.
Definitely. What they have now is the template to do it again. I'm sure that they will continue to bring on good athletes. That area, as you said, is growing, and they know what they need to do. This team, to me, was built in the offseason with the speed and agility programs, the leadership programs, the weight programs. What you have is a bunch of young men with a great attitude, with the ability to run, and that's what football is all about.
By the way, I want to double back to Coach Leidy's conversation with Jeremiah from a few minutes ago, and obviously you saw the emotion on his face, understandably so. You have this moment as a player, now you have it as a coach. Obviously you shared that moment with your father 27 years ago, and again, Vince's dad, John, passed away 5 years ago, so a lot was going through his mind. But it also struck me, he's probably never sounded more like a coach than what he said when he talked about, I'm not sure how sharp we were. Buddy, you just won the state championship by 31 points. He figured it out by the end of the conversation. He said, hey, we're going to celebrate this for more than 24 hours. Good. That's the part I'd like to hear. But that was that coaching gene that kicked in. Yeah, we won, but we could have been a bit more sharp. Trust me, you were sharp enough, friend.
Exactly. And I felt the same way. You know, you just knew that was on him, and it bothered him because, yeah, he coaches to be excellent. And sometimes you can be less than excellent and still win a state championship. But those are the things really that make a great coach. I remember somebody once asked Don Shula, isn't there value in overlooking a small flaw? And Shula said, what's a small flaw?
Those words don't go together, do they? Well, Mount Vernon's third state championship in program history, not in the sport. This is the first in football. Softball state champs in 2A in 2000. Girls basketball state champs in 3A in 2013. So the first boys state championship in any sport at Mount Vernon High School. More medals being handed out by the executive members of the IHSAA staff. The trophy will soon follow. 5 champions have been crowned. In 1A, Indianapolis Lutheran. In 2A, Andrean. In 3A, Gibson Southern. Mount Vernon about to hoist the trophy in Class 4A. And in 5A, it's Cathedral. And in our 6A game with Westfield and Center Grove, if you are tuning in for that game, I would imagine in the vicinity of 7:45 would be my guess as to when that game would kick off. Need about 25-30 minutes at the conclusion of these ceremonies, which will be in the next 2 or 3 minutes before we can officially get started. Lance Schad, Mark Janes, Jeremiah Johnson, the rest of our tremendous IHSAA Champions Network crew will have the coverage of the final football game. And Trey Jones getting a little assistance from teammate Luke Heiner. Trey will have a little time to heal up over the next few weeks, and he'll be back a season from now.
You know, back to that interview with Coach Leidy, he held us together pretty well. There were a couple moments there where I felt like he was going to get extremely emotional. You know that means so much, and you know those thoughts go back to when he was a kid growing up and just hanging out with his dad, and now these kind of things happen to him. I mean, those are great life stories that will always permeate him and everyone around him.
By the way, other members of the staff, we've referenced Toby Jacobs and Jay Jones, Chad Masters, Nick Clarkson, Austin Lacey, Greg Brewer, Matt Hankley, Brandon Dirksen, Zach Murphy, Pete Gorga, the other coaches that get to enjoy the fruits of their labor. I love this angle of the presentation. One of the second longest runs of the day.
It's a big trophy.
The championship trophy.
That's what it's all about.
Gentry, LaBelle, Sluniker, and Herman, on behalf of that great senior class, get to hold the championship, the first in program history. Congratulations to the Mount Vernon Marauders. We'll take this quick timeout and come back with final thoughts in this 4A state championship game, presented by the Indianapolis Colts and the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Matt Wolford, president of the IHSAA Foundation, and we need your help. We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to ihsaafoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
Right now, more than ever, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. Make 6 figures a year, have great health insurance, have a great retirement.
It basically is giving me a lot more security financially.
The great benefits of this union is that I've been able to provide for my family.
If they didn't truly believe college was for them, or even if they were on the edge of thinking, I'd push them towards going to a trade.
Ivy Plus helps students navigate the cost of college in 2 ways: tuition and textbooks. Ivy Plus Tuition simplifies what students pay by charging the same tuition rate if they're enrolled in 12 or more credits. You pay the same amount whether you take 12, 15, or even 18 credits, so you can graduate faster while saving money. You'll save even more with Ivy Plus textbooks. Best of all, students in the fall 21 and spring 22 will receive their required textbooks at no additional cost.
The 49th annual IHSAA Football State Finals are brought to you by the Indianapolis Colts, presenting sponsor of the IHSAA State Football Tournament. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, presenting broadcast sponsor of the IHSAA Champions Network. And by the following: Methodist Sports Medicine, the orthopedic specialists. Wilson Sporting Goods, the official ball of IHSAA Sports. Indiana Members Credit Union, keeping it simple. Franciscan Health, inspiring health. Menards, save big money on all your home improvement needs. Indiana Careers in Construction. Learn more about apprenticeship programs at builttosucceed.org. Ivy Tech Community College, proud sponsor of the IHSAA Sportsmanship Program. Reach your goal at Ivy Tech. And by Valley Sports Indiana, television broadcast home of the IHSAA Champions Network.
We are now less than 25 minutes away from the 6A state championship game. Westfield on the field. Center Grove will be soon to follow, but let's wrap up the 4A broadcast with a look at our Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance game highlights. Again, Mount Vernon jumped out to a 20-0 lead. Keegan Lavelle would find the end zone twice in half number 1. Burhan his 5th receiving touchdown of the season. Ashton Gentry would have both a touchdown on offense and defense in today's game. Would finish with 5 catches for 130 yards. Tag got to Jethro Hochstetler to make it 20-7. But as we mentioned, Lavelle would score before halftime. It's 26-7. Breidenthal, a picture-perfect move. This was the opening tally of half number 2 to make it 32-7. Sluniker to Gentry to make it 38-7. And again, eventually it would get to 45-14. 6A state championship game. Kickoff just after 7:40. Number 1 Center Grove. There you see Caden Curry. He can pick the school he goes to a few months from now. He'll try to disrupt Westfield offensively. 1 versus 2. Center Grove and Westfield comes your way just after 7:40 here on the IHSA Champions Network. Coach Polizzi, you did a wonderful job in your maiden voyage here for the state football finals. Your final thoughts on this 4A championship game?
Well, first of all, it was a thrill for me to be part of this operation. I have not seen such a degree of expertise and professionalism. It was nothing but fun. Working with you, Greg, was a dream come true. Excellent football. So happy for Coach Leidy and Mount Vernon. The things they've done to work to gain this will never be forgotten.
Again, for Joe Polizzi and Jeremiah Johnson, the wonderful crew behind the scenes, this is Greg Rakestraw. Again, the 4A state championships is now in the books. Mount Vernon of Fortville, Northridge, both making their first appearance in this scenario here at Lucas Oil Stadium. But Mount Vernon looked anything like a first-timer. They were dominant from the opening whistle to the final play of the game. They win 45-14. Stay tuned. Westfield and Center Grove comes your way just after 7:40. The State Football Championship Series presented by the Indianapolis Colts. And keep it right here on the IHSAA Champions Network.
When I was in high school, I played softball. I was on the varsity team, and I really enjoyed the competitiveness of it.
The skills I learned in high school athletics were integrity, hard work, discipline, being able to show up on time, ready to work.
For the most part, I guess teamwork, being dedicated, self-motivation, things of that nature were things that I grabbed from playing sports in high school that I was able to transition into my career.
My senior year of high school, I was a pretty good student. I was a B student, and my original plan was to get into the trades. And I took a little bit of a detour, but eventually got to where I wanted to be. But all along, I knew that the trades were right for me and what I wanted to do.
I didn't know what I was doing with my life, and I knew it was spelled out on paper what I would be making in the next 4 years. So I thought it was my best chance of having a good life.
The great benefits of this union is that I've been able to provide for my family. I'm home every night for my son and for my wife. I can help my wife further her career. She's wanting to go back to college and get more education there so she can take the next step in her career.
It truly is where the rubber meets the road. Without the skilled trades, without infrastructure, without bridges, without hospitals, simply things do not work. We're the oil of the economic engine for the entire country. So right now, more than ever, it's the opportunity of a lifetime to step up to the plate, make 6 figures a year, have great health insurance, have a great retirement, and work on some of the most high-profile projects that are around the country.
In the construction field and union in particular, you get amazing benefits. You got medical, dental, vision, life. You've got a pension.
It changes from day to day. You might be at the same job site. You might not be at the same job site. There's a lot of out-of-the-box thinking and problem solving. I think that's my favorite part.
I enjoy getting to be in buildings and change buildings that some people may never see the inside of, whether it be power plants, water treatment facilities, refineries, Pacers training facility, all all those places are amazing. They change what happens in Indianapolis and in the world.
2 years ago, I didn't have my own car and I didn't have my own house. Now I have my own car and my own house. I mean, this is 2 years later of just working full time. It just completely changes what you have and, I mean, the direction you were going.
If I was going to talk to a high school senior, I would tell them to think very long and hard about the career they were going to choose to do for the rest of their life, to give the construction industry a chance to provide them opportunities to advance somewhere other than what they thought they were going to do.
And now with this job, I have regular pay raises. It's, you know, they're good wages. I have good health care, retirement plan.
If they didn't truly believe college was for them, or even if they were on the edge of thinking, I'd push them towards going to a trade.
You have a great opportunity in trade school to not only make a great living while getting an education that is provided by your union or your trade school, and you get a great start to life without having the financial debt of college.
I'm excited to learn and have a stable living whenever I get out of high school and be able to fund for myself. Also, I'm excited to keep learning and keep things going for the rest of my life.
College wasn't really for me. I was looking at all the other options, and my father was a bricklayer and for the union. So I was really interested in that.
The apprenticeship offers 5 years of training, debt-free when you graduate, you earn while you learn, and you have a skill that's going to last you a lifetime.
I love getting up, going to work. It is a great opportunity to, like I said, build something from nothing. You are a part of a bigger picture.
The Indiana Careers in Construction Association is proud to partner with the IHSAA.
Hello, I'm Carrie Rosati, one of the assistant commissioners with the Indiana High School Athletic Association. In 1972, Congress passed one of the most significant pieces to civil rights legislation, Title IX. Title IX of the Education Amendment states, no person in the United States shall on the basis of sex be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. The passing of Title IX provides young women, both at the high school and college levels, numerous opportunities to enjoy and share in the benefits of participation in education-based athletics. The IHSA wishes to honor and celebrate the 50th anniversary of Title IX through continuing to share empowering recollections from those who are instrumental in paving the way for female athletics, along with those who have benefited from and now lead through the law's passage. We hope you enjoy.
Title IX was official in 1972, and I remember hearing about it as a younger child, but not a lot had come. But I still had that desire to play, so I was always looking for something and always questioning to see if I could be on a team or I could play this sport or that sport. And then when I finally was in high school and we had a track team, that was great because I could compete, and I wanted to compete. It took my entire high school career to really even get a basketball team organized to play, and we found our own coach. I went to my principal and he said, if you can find your coach and we don't have to pay her much, we can let you guys play. And we ended up having an 8-game season. But for me, at the high school level, Title IX didn't do a lot because we were not accepted as an IHSAA sport at that time. It did not occur until, I believe, it was 1976.
So when Title IX first came about, I had no idea what it was. I didn't know what the number stood for. I didn't know what it looked like. It wasn't humanized. But what I noticed was changes that were happening all around me. And you could see a shift. We were always outliers. And the day that I remember sort of understanding Title IX was the day that we went up, we were going to get uniforms. And we went upstairs and we got in the boys' basketball storage, dug through the trunks, and we got to pick an orange and a white one. They had to be 20 years old. And then we had scheduled games. And then we had basketballs that were leather and they weren't plastic. And then we had a schedule and we got to go on a bus. And all of those things, I knew something was going on, and I was in high school.
When I first started, in this area, there were very few female officials at all in this area. And so it was very rare to have a female on the floor. In my beginning career, there was never any place for me to change. I've changed in a broom closet before. Even in the tournament, I was sent to a middle school and almost needed a GPS to try to figure out how to get back to the floor so I wasn't late. And I learned that the more exposure I had and the more places I went to, it started to become, oh, that's Kim the ref, instead of, oh, what's a female official doing out here?
And when I moved to Forest Manor, Title IX had been approved. And so going in, the principal says, and he had already decided that Title IX has been changed, and we're going to not separate the genders in physical education classes, but it worked out well. So that was my first opportunity to work in a co-ed physical education class, and it worked out beautifully.
As I reflect back on Title IX in high school in the 80s, I graduated in 1986. I played every sport possible, which was fortunate, but one of my favorite sports is soccer, obviously. And there wasn't a girls' soccer opportunity for me. And it wasn't until my junior year of high school that our high school, North Central, decided to have a varsity team. And that started off with the boys. Well, there were a group of fathers, girl dads, that said, if you're going to have boys, you need to have girls. And it was so beneficial for me. No, it wasn't quite sanctioned as an IHSAA sport, but it provided another avenue for me at the high school level to engage and participate at my high school.
If you go back to when I was in high school, we practiced late every night. The boys had the gym after school, and we had the 6 to 9 slot every night. It's just what we did. We didn't question it. We made the most of it. It helped our team bonding because we all went to somebody's house after school and hung out, ate food, and then went to practice. And now when I look back on that, how did my high school coach have a family and coach us with that schedule? Unbelievable, because I don't know that I could have done that. I was afforded, by the time I started coaching, there was equal opportunity with gym schedules. We still have a long way to go in some other areas, but that was something that was helpful to me as a young coach who had children. You could find daycare after school and then be able to be home with them in the evening and put them to bed and things like that. And of course, when you had games, that you missed some of that, but at the same time, for the most part, I was home. That's a change that happened because of Title IX that at the time I didn't even think about. But now when I look back and when it was happening to me as a mother, it was a big difference.
I think when you work with athletes, whether they're female or male at the high school level, I think if you keep in mind that you're just trying to put out the best young adult you can, the best person that is going to be making decisions in 20 years. If you put that at the forefront of your mind, Title IX is just the groundwork for that, right? It gave us an opportunity to talk about both genders and not one more than the other.
It's our responsibility as administrators and coaches and officials to have these conversations, band together, lift one another up. We have to do the same thing as females and women to create the space that we ourselves can grow, but also pull up the young females out there that are ready to step in and fulfill our roles when we're old and retired. But we have to be the ones to do it. It's not a build it and we will come. We have to go out and make that happen. So when I say be intentional, that's what I'm talking about.
50 years have gone by since Title IX, and we are still not there. And I don't really expect us to ever be. There's still a difference between the men and women, and the excitement that comes from being at a women's game, being at a men's game, it's getting closer, but I'm not sure that we'll ever see them be equal. And I'm one of those people that, in a way, I'm kind of okay with that, because I want us to have our own brand and it be the best brand of women's athletics as it can be. Do we need to be men? No. We need to be women at the top of our game, doing what we love and doing the best with what has been given to us.